give you a rundown so you can follow me. You're going to hear the commercials, right? This is a live radio broadcast. We're going to throw out T-shirts. We're going to do all of that crazy stuff that a live remote radio event does. But we're going to bring them through here. And it is the funnest thing for those of you that have done this with us before and you see how this is done. I don't think anybody in this room, unless you've been here before, that you've been up close and personal with all of your favorite guests. Now, obviously, you can see immediately to my left is Cory Goode. Give it up for Cory. Tonight, I'm not going to break out too many things, but we've always had surprise visits from Giorgio and Erich von Daniken, and at Linda Moulton House probably going to stroll through here. Richard Dolan at some point. I see Brian Forrester in the back. It's going to be out of control tonight, okay? We're starting off tonight with Cory Goode. Now, before we get to Cory, I want to say this to all of you. This is a very special thing for me to sit here with all of you Fadernauts. How many were at the saloon last night that was in this room? Right? We had 200 Fadernauts at the Joshua Tree Saloon last night. Was that the craziest thing? Now, and Cory, I'm going to throw Cory under the bus really quick. Cory, say hello to the world.
Hello.
Yeah, Cory. Hey, man. How are you? He's trying to replicate him being on the show this week. Cory, last night you were at the Joshua Tree Saloon with us. And you and I and Roger, and where's Stacy? Stacy's right here. We walked through the saloon, and I introduced you to probably 150 people last night. Was that the most insane thing ever, to walk through a bar like that to see that many Fadernauts? And
well, the insane part was you got me there?
Yeah.
The insane part was that you knew almost all their names.
Hey, right? Because and this is where I'm going with this. This is a family. Have we grown this thing into this amazing, just wonderful family? And for me to walk through, Cory's right. For me to walk through a room and be able to introduce Cory and Stacy and Roger to everybody personally says what? That we are a family, right? So please, the Fadernaut family right now, thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. I want to hear it. You guys are the best. All right. So let's kick things off. You know what? I was going to do 15 minutes with Cory. Looks like we're going to do about 20. And Cory's like, Church, you do this every time, bro. Every time.
Suck me in.
All right, Cory, let's start here. Let's kind of dovetail with the conversation that we had earlier this week, and certainly it's going to continue throughout this weekend. But one thing I want to emphasize, not only to the world, but to this audience, you basically, in a basic sense, in a lifetime of events, you are new to this community and what it really is, right? There are people that out here that have been doing this for 30, 40, 50 years, right? And everybody knows. But you're new. And the experience of what is going on in the community, there are some issues out there. But did you expect drama like this? Did you know that there would be drama going in? Everybody, we're used to it, man, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I spent a couple years in a few forums. And I saw a lot of the drama there, but I didn't know it was going to be the macro, that there was going to be a lot more of that, in this field. But it's been, surprising.
Today, I was over with David Wilcock on his panel, and when we were talking about the SSP, and his question to me was, and I want to address this back to you, Jimmy, are you surprised about some of the negativity and the reception out there with the secret space program? How do you feel about that? I said, you know what? It's great. You know why it's great? It's because the bigger that it gets, the more divide there's going to be. Because as you average out life, everything is 50-50, right? That's it. So what it says is we're beyond our friends and family and the people that get it. We need to, the bigger the issue gets, then that law of averages says, right, you're going to get to 50-50. It doesn't matter. Life is, that's why we have vanilla and chocolate ice cream. There's a reason for that, right? Do you think that the SSP, your message, the Blue Avions, everything that is involved with, that you are speaking about, is it just growing exponentially every single day?
Yes, at an unbelievable rate. The number of projects that we're working on, it's exciting. We're going to be able to announce more in the future, but there's a lot of really exciting things going on.
And when you, is it that you have new members every day, new contact, more people reaching out to you, and you can feel that the message is starting to take hold?
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that the message is taking hold by people's reaction. Like I've told you before, when I first came out, I was talking with David and Gaia. They were wanting me to do a TV show, and I was thinking, who the heck is going to believe me? You know? So I was surprised that that the show actually did so well.
And you, most people probably don't know about your production over at Gaia. How does that happen? I know you fly into Colorado to their facilities. How many shows do you shoot a day?
We'll shoot between 4 and 5 shows in a day, and shoot 5 days. So we've shot up to 25 episodes in 1 week.
You know how insane that sounds?
Yeah.
Is that insane. Crazy? Do you guys understand the concept of that?
Yeah, the first couple of seasons where I'm wearing the same clothes, you know, it was like two or three or more visits when I went there wearing those clothes, but it covered 1 or 2 seasons.
Now, what we all want to know, and I want everybody to laugh right now. Tell me if this isn't the thought of everybody in this room. You've exposed a lot of information. How much are you holding back? Right? How much are you holding back?
A fair amount.
Dude, that ain't right. So
certain things, operational security kind of stuff. Nothing that is important information that everyone needs to know to have intel updates.
Is it also time? There's only so much time in the day, right? You got to do 25 episodes a week. Right?
Yeah.
Is it also that there's just not enough time to get everything out?
There's less and less time with more and more projects that we take on. So,
right.
Yeah, the time has become an issue. We've got a lot of projects going on right now.
And is there dangerous information you're not letting out? Not only to us, but maybe to who is speaking to you, or maybe even Washington, D.C. and so forth. Is there dangerous information?
Well,
are these questions you guys want to know? Right? Okay.
Some of the dangerous information that we released recently were about the different research facilities that were built down in Antarctica during the late 50s, early 60s. And these facilities were taken over by Lockheed Martin and a few other subsidiaries that have been the research vessels for weapons platforms, which is against the 1959 treaty that the United States signed.
Right.
So this information coming out has caused some shockwaves in the military-industrial complex.
And again, back to this information. What about free energy, things that could help the world? Are you sitting on some of this too as well?
Sitting on it in what aspect?
This is information that you're not releasing.
No. There are a number of technologies I've discussed that are going to be released at a certain point.
Right.
We've had things popping up on the internet recently, like the TR3B patent, yes, that was released recently that had some actual information about how these electrogravitic drives work, talking about the balls that spin around inside the little dome blisters underneath the three that are underneath the craft.
Right.
So it was pretty precise information. So I think a lot of this is going to start leaking out in a very slow way.
And now let's talk about some reptilians. Let's talk about some reptilians. The audience just squirmed in their seat. Yeah, Jimmy's going right there.
If we have to.
Yeah. I want to know how many different versions, species of reptilians have you encountered?
A number. There are some that they have bone structure very similar to humans, but have a skin that is reptilian. They don't look like what you would classically think of as a reptilian.
So human with reptilian skin.
Yeah,
kind of like Hillary Clinton, kind of like that. But
and reptilian eyes, that kind of a thing. But they look very humanish. There are there's a very large number of different reptilian types out there. I'm going to be talking tomorrow about the 22 different genetic programs that are going on. Well, those are going out throughout the cosmos, and there are competing genetic programs.
Right.
One of them is the reptilian agenda. You know, they once had our planet set up as a laboratory for the reptilian genetic experiment, and that experiment was wiped out by somebody. And this new experiment was started for us.
So, and that's one. Would that species speak in our language?
They can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Were you able to communicate with them?
I did not communicate directly with most of the ones I encountered. It was in the intruder interrogate, intercept and interrogate program. Right. I was behind glass, usually.
Now, okay, so that's one. What else can you tell me about some other versions? I mean, this is the thing.
There's a version that people confuse with the Greys a lot. It's a real short, thin creature that has a similar shaped head as a Grey, but it has, when you look closely, it has very distinct reptilian features, including its eyes.
And why would we mistake? So do you think that we are actually seeing them, mistaking them as Greys?
Well, yeah, a lot of the times when people are abducted, we have this classical Grey thing in our brain.
Right.
But a lot of the different beings look similar to the Greys. They have, larger heads, larger eyes, and they can be, confused. So a lot of people think that they're being abducted by the Greys, but they're being abducted by a similar looking group.
Now, what about something more like with a tail, Tyrannosaurus Rex-ish?
Yes, they're the raptors that are, they stay almost exclusively below ground. They all come out to hunt every once in a while, but when they come out, they're usually in the jungle down in South America. Now,
why wouldn't that be just a dinosaur that wasn't extinct?
It's very likely that that's what it is.
Interesting.
That some of these, from that experiment before, that dinosaur type experiment, that some of these beings were brought below ground to protect them, similar to what the Hopi have talked about in their legends about the ant people taking them below ground.
The intelligence of these. Okay, so it may be an extension of a species of dinosaur that wasn't extinct. But what about the intelligence? Do they think like us? Are they at our level or beyond?
They think completely differently than us. This particular group, the raptors, they're sort of a blend between like a dinosaur and a bird.
Interesting.
When they move around, they move around real jerky,
Right.
Kind of like a bird does.
Right.
They're highly intelligent. They work in groups.
Right.
And it's believed that there is some sort of a telepathic hive kind of collective.
And so, wow, really? So that would mean that their intelligence is also combined.
Yes.
And depends on each other.
Right.
And could get like supercomputer crazy smart.
Right.
Right? Am I understanding?
Yeah, I've heard that when they're alone, not in a group, that they can panic.
Right.
And lash out.
Kind of like me.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right. When we talk about these subjects, the secret space program or reptilians and species and the 20 and back program, it is easy for those out there who are skeptics or call themselves debunkers, or they're on a mission to bring somebody down, right? It is very easy. Their thing is simple. All they have to say is, well, he's tripping, right? That, no, it just didn't happen. But certainly we are confronted by this a lot. I'm asked all the time, dude, what's the real deal about Cory? Let me throw that back to you. When somebody says that to you or you read it, and we all want to know, first off, how does that make you feel? One. And two, how do you respond to that when it may be difficult to produce a video of you on Mars, right? And
when I first came onto the scene, attackers, especially some that I had a little bit of a loose affiliation with, I would get triggered. I'd get upset. But now, I don't care how bad they troll me, it doesn't affect me at all. I will, let other people in my group know that the attack is occurring, but
right.
I don't lose sleep over it.
And okay, but how does that make you feel personally, though?
Well, like I said before, I honestly didn't expect a whole lot of people to believe the information anyway.
Right.
So
it's
such a small, noisy minority
right.
that it's really almost not even worth addressing.
Right. So you're not going to just throw in the towel and go, you know what, these little peons are getting to me.
It's too hard. I'm going
home.
It's
too hard.
No. I'm not going home.
Sorry, I enjoy a good laugh too, like the rest of you, right? What can we expect in the very near future? You're sitting on a wealth of knowledge. You've been making contact lately. This Antarctica thing is starting to break wide open. What can we expect? Everybody wants more. I can speak for everybody in this room. You're not talking enough, right? What can we expect? Do you guys want more out of Cory? Right. Okay.
Well, about 6 months ago, it was communicated to me through Tier Air that the next 3.5 years is a time frame that us as a mass consciousness, or we are making very important decisions that are going to direct which temporal reality we end up in. We're making this decision together. Now, during this time period, a lot of my visits with them are going to start to wane a little bit. They want a lot of people to refocus, not focus so much on them and trying to pray to them and call out to them, but they want us to focus on ourselves. And another thing that they wanted was that everyone that identified with this message, they wanted them to use all of their gifts and talents to start trying to affect the mass consciousness in a good way to help guide it towards a temporal reality that is in line with what this community is looking for, and not a negative one.
You have lots of stuff planned, and I don't know if everybody here tonight or listening tonight is aware, but television, feature films, documentaries, graphic novels, animation. It's a pretty ambitious, multi-pronged attack on this. But I'm going to ask you right now, what's the use of a graphic novel? An animation series? Are you aiming at youngsters, or is this for adults that can't read?
Well, let's say that 20 years from now, everything proceeds exactly like it is now.
Right.
No disclosure, nothing happens.
Right.
I would like to have put out some media, like a child's book, that talks about oneness and being service to others. And 20 years from now, hear a young man talking about how when he was a kid, he was given this book or this little app for his iPhone that guided him at an important part of his life towards being more service to others. That would be great,
Yeah, absolutely. Before we wrap up really quick, Cory just announced last week, actually on Fade to Black, I just remember that, you've got an event up at Mount Shasta during the eclipse, August 18th through the 21st, says the man in the front row.
The eclipse of the truth.
The eclipse of the truth. Tell us about it. Is that cool, right? Yeah, okay. Tell us about it, Cory.
Yeah, it's going to be in Mount Shasta. We're not announcing all the different speakers yet. We're about to have a website up. We have early bird tickets up on the Eclipse of Disclosure.
It says the guy in the front row.
That's Roger. He's my producer and my business partner.
And a pretty big guy.
Big guy.
Yeah. You don't mess with Roger.
Yeah, he's security when I can't find him.
Now, I want to thank you, first off. Being a whistleblower, if that's what we can call you, I just think you're an all-around good guy. But it is tough, man. It is tough to face the music in such a way. But I want to say this, and I want the audience to respond in kind. Until we get to the bottom of this mess, we don't know nothing. We don't. And it's Cory and it's everybody else that I interview and that you see speaking here today. Listen to them all and make your own decisions. And I really feel that that's always been Cory's message here. We are a community that is growing. Can you guys feel it? Look at this room. Can you feel what I'm saying? So, Cory, you're a small piece of the puzzle, aren't you? And do you know everything? And is there a reason to just put all of our faith into you?
No, we all have to use discernment. We have to use our life experiences to try to make sense out of what's going on. And once that we get to a point to where we're not fighting about all the things we don't agree about and come together and work on the common goal of disclosure.
Right.
At that point, I think we'll get it, but not before.
Cory, I can't say thank you enough, and thank you for being here at Contact in the Desert, and of course, Fade to Black and Coast to Coast, and you've always been there. And I'll say this again, and I want Cory to say, Jimmy, always. Every time I've called him, every time that I've asked him, or any time that he has contacted me, we have always brought forward and spoken as quick as possible. It's not that he talks too much, is what I'm saying. That's all he wants to do. So every opportunity that we have had to do something and present it, we have always done that. Cory, say yes, Jimmy, yes.
I'll agree.
Yes. And that's the truth. So when you want more from it, trust me, we are doing it as often and as grand and as wonderful as we can. All right, everybody give it up for Mr. Cory Goode. All right, with that, we're going to take a break. And I'm going to say this. Anybody that leaves the room, and you can, but you may not get a T-shirt. This is Fade to Black. You guys having a good time? Is this cool? Man, packed house. Packed house. Everybody, look at the back. All right, I see you. All right, we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. We're live from Contact in the Desert 2017. Coming up next, Brad Olsen, and all the way from Hong Kong, Philip Chu is in the house. He's right there. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black. you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Gobekli Tepe.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fader-Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back live from Contact in the Desert. Give it up. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, very special live broadcast. We're going to have 12, 14, 16 special guests. Nobody knows what's about to happen. And right now, it is so very cool to have these two gentlemen to my left. But before we do that, T-shirt cannon. Oh, you took it out of her hands. Hand it to her. No, behind you. It was a 4-year-old little girl, and he took the shirt out of her hand live on video. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Welcome, everybody. Now, it's just Cory Goode, right? Now, check this out. I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus. Last year at Contact in the Desert, we have fans all around the world. And last year, this young man right here comes up to me and starts quoting lines from Fade to Black to me. And and he comes up and he goes, hold on. Let me jump in right here. I was like, what? Right? And he goes, man, my name is Philip Chu. I'm here from Hong Kong. And he has his own radio show, television over in Hong Kong called MJ13, all the way from Hong Kong. He is, I'm going to say it right now, he's the Art Bell, he's the George Norris, the Jimmy Church of Hong Kong and China, here with us at Contact in the Desert. Just got off the plane. I'm not joking. Everybody give it up. You heard him on our show. Philip Chu. Now, I'm just going to say, is that unbelievably cool, right? And now he was on the show with us last month. Before I get to Philip, He was on with us last month, and the reaction that we had from our audience, not only about Chuck's conversation, but it was his warmth, it was his honesty, it was his questioning of everything and his pursuit of knowledge that came through on the show. And it turned out to be one of our most wonderful shows of the year. And again, United States to Philip, we call him Chuck. Philip, welcome. Welcome to the show, my friend. Unbelievable.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jimmy.
I can't believe you're sitting here, man.
I can't believe I'm sitting here. Seriously.
Oh, so cool, man. So cool. And thank you so much. Philip posted on Facebook. And Philip, I know you're a radio pro, but get up on that mic.
Yeah. Get close.
Yeah,
right, okay.
There you go. We want to hear.
But I have to say that again because I learned my English by watching Lethal Weapon 400 times. So the way I speak, the accent may be a mixture of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. You have to understand that. I'm serious.
Thank you so much. So Philip posted on Facebook. He's at the airport. He's got a shot of the airplane. As only the Asian culture just loves to travel and post. And he posted, "I'm on my way to contacting the desert. Here's the proof." And he's at the airport.
Right.
I was like, man, here he comes.
Yeah. I was just telling people that the space of the airplane is good. The seat.
Yeah.
I just telling them it's good.
Well, yeah, because it was in Chinese, I couldn't read it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what it said.
And then I also, because I took the whole row, so I can sleep and get use of the jet lag.
I'm going to get back to Chuck here in a sec. See, that's why Chuck is here. Is he the best or what, man? It's just wonderful.
Thank you.
But as cool as Chuck is, to my left is Brad Olsen, the tallest man in paranormal. Brad, stand up for everybody. All 6'9".
All right. Yo, I'll see it already. Right?
6'9", Brad Olsen. Is that crazy? He played power forward for the Lakers back in the 80s, Showtime. That was him. He was on the bench. But Brad, welcome. Jump on. You're here with us every year. What do you think about this weather, and what a great conference it has been so far? It's just been absolutely amazing. Best year ever.
Well, I'm not just brawn, Jimmy. I also have some brain. And the weather this year is great. You couldn't have asked for better. 80-degree days, like we're all on vacation, kicking it, learning some new subject matter, hearing some great speakers, and we're all coming together. And I'm learning from you guys too, and I really appreciate the interaction and everything else that has to do with this wonderful event, Contact Desert A1 event. This is the standard bearer for all other conferences, and I speak at several, and there's nothing quite like this one. So shout out to our producers of this event who've done a wonderful job putting this all together.
I'm going to say this. Thank you for that, Brad. I'll say this to both of my guests, and I want them to respond, because this is the truth. We've all been to conferences over the years, right? We've all done it. And everybody takes it too damn serious, right? And they walk around, don't joke about UFOs, bruh. Don't crack no jokes about UFOs, bruh. That's, church, that ain't funny. And it's not the vibe here, is it? It's okay. I think we've all grown up because we went through an era where ufology and us and we were laughed at. So we needed to be serious, right? We needed to have the serious face on all the time. It's not that kind of party anymore. First off, we're right and they're wrong. That's number one. Right? And the second thing is, you know what? I think we took ourselves a little bit too serious. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's okay to laugh. Right? It's okay to enjoy. You walk around this conference. I don't want to say the numbers here because the fire department will show up and shut this thing down. But there are thousands of people here. Is it incredible to walk around and enjoy yourselves and not stress out? Are we all on the same page? And it's because of you. Give it up.
And it's all of us of a like mind.
Yes.
Who all get it.
Right.
It's not like we're going to have a argument over chemtrails or what alien species talk about here. You guys all get it.
Right. And Chuck, what's it like over in China?
Okay, what you said is probably right in the States, but in China or in Hong Kong, it has to be serious. Because if you're not serious enough and people still think it's a joke.
Really?
Yes.
So you don't crack jokes. You don't crack jokes in Hong Kong.
I make a little gag.
So that's why you're funny guy here, because you're letting it all out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I make jokes, but when you talk about UFO subjects,
right.
You got to be serious and let them know this is serious and
right.
the case is real case.
Right.
This is a real deal.
Right.
Because if you joke around, probably the culture, probably the history,
right,
different between the U.S.
right.
people and the people from China and Hong Kong.
Right.
They don't touch the UFO information as early as you guys.
Right.
All right. So they only touch it the recent years, like the recent probably 20 years ago.
Right.
They start listening to that. Even when I was a kid, when I saw the UFO, I asked my dad, and nobody knows anything about it. Nobody knows anything about it.
Okay, Chuck, I just got to ask you, man. What the frig is up with China, man? You guys, hold on. You guys are shutting down airports. You've got UFOs on the news. You've got things, cities in the clouds, in the sky. Right now, am I right? Right? Is everybody with me? What is going on in China, man? And I'm being serious. Okay. You guys, we thought all UFOs were only here in the United States. Right now, you guys got it going on. Yeah. Right? What is going on in China?
A global phenomenon.
No, we don't have cities in the sky here, man. No, we don't have that.
I personally think that is only the angle of the pictures.
Really? Yeah, you're bumming me out. So there is no cities in the clouds.
I don't believe that the pictures.
Oh, man. Okay. Who saw the pictures, right? This whole room did. Now, and then when they said with the pictures, this was what flipped me out. This is not Photoshop. This is actual pictures, right? And they show the different angles, and I'm like, those are cities in the sky, right?
Yeah, but that can easy to how can I say it? Because the picture is cropped so close.
But I'm not saying there's cities in the sky. I don't think. What I'm saying is multiple people took those pictures from different angles. This isn't one shot. That's what tripped me out the most.
Yeah, I know. But still, in the UFO case, a lot of pictures that framed from different angles, but that could be fake too.
Right. Okay. All right. So then we'll wash the cities in the sky now for now.
Sometimes when we look at the
wait
pictures,
a minute. You guys are shutting down airports these days.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it seems like it's a once a month thing. Shut down and with some crazy video, and you guys shut down the airport for 18 hours while you let the UFO run its course.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. What is going on with that?
I don't know, but you still got UFO flying in the Chicago airport.
We had that, but we didn't shut down the airport. The flight still kept going, right? We're not. O'Hare doesn't shut down for any reason.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me jump in real quick. Okay. You're asking me what's going on of China. You're asking me why they shut down the airport for 18 hours.
Yes.
Or you're asking me why there is so many UFO phenomenon over there.
Let's stay with the airport first.
The airport. I cannot answer that. I don't know. But all I know is some of the government worker wants to take that flight to some other places. They're in a hurry, but they had to shut down the airport, so they were kind of angry and crazy and get yelling in the airport and asking, what the hell is going on?
Right.
And then the only people answer them. The only answer they have is the military exercise.
Brad, really quick before I let you guys go, and thank you before we run out of time here. Brad, what are you speaking about this weekend in 10 seconds or less? Go.
Tomorrow, 7 to 9 p.m., Everything is Fake, Top 10 Deceptions in the World. What is being perpetuated on us as reality is actually a big picture show. We've talked about it on Fade to Black many times.
Yes.
And then Sunday morning, I'm the last speaker tomorrow and the first speaker on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. right here in Lotus. The 11th deception is human origins are fake. And we're going to talk about the giants and all the skulls and all the species that have inhabited this Earth perhaps for millions of years. It's been an inhabitable planet that long. So it stands to reason that a lot of these entities, things we've heard in the Bible, from the Nephilim to the Anunnaki, may have left traces around, including even skeletons.
Brad is the publisher over and owns CCCP Publishing. Go visit his table right outside. All of the great publishers are there. Philip Chu from Hong Kong. Everybody, please give it up. Brad Olsen, Philip Chu from Hong Kong. You guys, thank you so much.
Sure.
All right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chuck. All right, no, we're going to keep this going. Rita, who do we have up next? Up next is Andrew Collins. Are you kidding me? Right now, live? Andrew Collins. Who's with Andrew? Oh! Carl Lehrberger, everybody. What is going on? Unbelievable. I mean, how cool is it? Somebody pinch me. Step up to the mics, guys. Okay, first off, I'm going to start with Carl. Carl, is this your first contact in the desert?
Second. And this year I'm not camping out, and it's not 100 degrees, so it's
That's
awesome.
what I'm saying. Okay, Carl, into the microphone. Into the microphone. Stay on the microphone. There you go. Best contact in the desert yet, don't you think? Pretty incredible out there.
Every show is incredible. I listened to Erich von Daniken, and I was blown away. And I missed some of his books, and he brought us up to date on the latest of the origins of our planet, and it blew my socks off.
How's that possible? I mean, you write and investigate about all of this stuff, and for you to say that, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Well, the amazing thing about contact in the desert is that each of us is in our own little sandbox. And my little sandbox is Secrets of Ancient America that really only go back, 3,000 years. But we have people here who have the vision and the knowledge that go back eons. And that's the amazing thing. And, what is incredible about this conference and the speakers is that we all are facing the same thing, that whether we're talking about alien contact, UFOs, the old history, giants, crop circles, we're all seeing the same thing, that we've been lied to, and that the evidence has disappeared or been covered up, and that those who challenge the establishment are disgraced or discredited, or in some cases worse. So now, here we are, together, and I really feel that we're on the edge of something incredible in terms of raising the consciousness of this planet and turning things around.
Thank you for that, Carl. Wow. I want to say, can I get an amen, right? Andrew, step up to the mic, my friend. How are you?
I'm good.
Man, does this man look and just like, wow, right?
Thank you.
Everybody's like, yeah, Jimmy, I don't want to say anything, but I was just thinking that. Andrew,
yes, sir.
One of the things that I appreciate so much about you is that, wait, first, I don't know if you guys know this. Andrew, I'm going to embarrass you right now. I don't know how many of you know this about Andrew, but when you come to an event like this and you're walking around, you may not know what the accomplishments have been from certain people that are walking by you. How many people in this room are aware that this man discovered a previously unknown cave complex under the pyramids in Giza that nobody said existed, that he went and broke the law and went underneath and videotaped it for the world back in
2008.
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
How many in here know that? Wait a minute. How many knew that in advance? Okay, 6 out of this room. Now, for the rest of you, how crazy is it that this man sitting next to me discovered a cave complex underneath the Giza plateau? Is that the craziest thing in ever? And that is who is here at Contact in the Desert. And for that, Andrew, I will always, right now, applause for Andrew Collins.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Now, that being said, I got that out of the way. I'm sorry I just embarrassed you. But is this, the one thing that I appreciate the most about you is you do not bend. Some trees bend, but they don't break. you have always stuck to your guns over the years, no matter what other beliefs are or influences. What you have discovered what you think is what you think, and what you publish and write is what you publish and write. Don't bother me. You're not going to change my mind.
That's correct.
That is you.
Indeed.
That is the most difficult position to take. Why?
I mean, you know, I'm all for sticking it for the man, but I will also I will also stick it to the alternative man as well if I feel that something's wrong.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's loads. I'm hearing loads of things here. I mean, you know, about sort of Mars being colonised, millions of years ago, Antarctica being fought over in wars and stuff like this. I mean, who knows? It could have been real, but I don't know anything about that.
Right.
And talk to me about something that I do know, and that's Gobekli Tepe, Egypt. And obviously this megastructure thing, which is really blowing up big time at the moment.
Right.
Some of you will know about, some of you won't. But the BBC this week in London on terrestrial television did a whole TV programme saying that our best chance of confirming the existence of an alien civilization is to know exactly what's going on around this star at the moment, called KIC 8462852. Yes, I have memorised it.
So have I.
And or it's also known as Tabby's star or Boyagin's star, after the astronomer that first wrote about it. But this is big, big news, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. And it's in the constellation of Cygnus, the celestial swan or bird.
Which you've been writing about forever.
Well, I mean, a bit fortuitous, of course, but
you're kind of digging it, right? You're kind of digging it?
Yeah, but hold on. It was like the caves. You know, when we discovered the caves, I mean, we didn't just fall into them. We'd been researching the subject for 5 years. We'd found an old account from 200 years ago that suggested that there was a cave complex at Giza, but they weren't in any modern books at all. And I worked with an Egyptological researcher, and we pinned down the exact site. I went there once, 1 year.
Didn't find it.
But then we got more evidence from another account that suggested it was where we want. I went back to this tomb, which was itself unrecorded, and went inside and found a tiny crack. And it led into this.
You had been walking in the videos, everybody. I mean, if you had seen how many times Andrew walked past this cubby hole.
I did. But bear in mind, it's in total darkness. So that's
no excuses. You still walked by it for years, and on video he walked and he kind of does a double take. I'm not kidding. And you crawl back in there, and you know what? Hand to God, I would never have crawled in a little black hole that was this big, and not knowing what's on the other side. But you had what's the magical moment that actually happened. You could have kept walking that day,
right? Well, it's
right?
what I call my Tutankhamun moment. You know, when Howard Carter first pokes a hole through into Tutankhamun's tomb, and Lord Carnarvon says to him, "What can you see? What can you see?" And he says, "Wonderful things." That was my wonderful things moment, basically. It was extraordinary, and but it just had to be explored. Then there's no way you could then just walk away from it.
And to that, okay, so now let's back up. Oh, for the audience, for the crowd, how many people here want to hear Andrew Collins say Gobekli Tepe one more time? Say Gobekli Tepe for us.
Gobekli Tepe.
Yeah, man. Caroline Cory in the house. Everybody say hi to Caroline. Just walked in. The director. All right, but you bring up a great point. Secret space, Mars colonization. But you know what, Andrew? Gobekli Tepe wasn't supposed to exist either. No. And that cave complex wasn't supposed to exist. And a lot of things weren't supposed to exist, and they do. And if we don't wonder, if we don't investigate, if you don't go out there and get it, it's not going to happen. Well, so what's the alternative? Not to discuss, not to wonder?
Well, I mean, we've been right all the way along, basically, as far as things like Gobekli Tepe predicting that this area, this very area where they found it, was the cradle of civilization.
Right.
And that there was something going on there, some kind of elite or the Nephilim or Watchers or Anunnaki were there, and that they seeded humanity with agriculture and metallurgy and beer and wine and all the good things. And that's the exact spot that Gobekli Tepe was found. And I wrote all that in a book called From the Ashes of Angels.
Right.
That actually appeared in 1996, the very year they put the spade down and started to uncover Gobekli Tepe. Nobody knew about that until the year 2000.
It makes you want... Well, and Carl, jump in really quick, because this is also just recently. We know so little about the United States. I will say this. North America is the redheaded stepchild of archaeology and ancient history. Nobody cares. Do you guys agree? We don't have enough research in our own backyard. What? You guys don't agree? See, that's what I'm saying. Nobody cares. What? Now, with that being said, Carl's like, Church, I'm going to crack you after this show, man. I'm going to crack you. Is this San Diego last month announced after 25 years of research the possibility, not the 25 years holding back because they wanted to confirm the research, but the possibility that we had upright, real humans in North America 130,000 years ago. Now that just ain't right on any level. How much more do they know that they're not talking about? And what do you think about this? And what is the significance about this in San Diego?
Well, you know what we're going to see less of is the giggle factor.
That's what I'm talking about.
When we talk about history or we talk about aliens, with most people, we get the giggle factor. And what this conference here is doing is raising the consciousness so that it's not something so unique and it's not giggle. It's like, whoa, I'm interested in that. In the case of America, you're absolutely right, Jimmy. It's incredible that the archaeologists have blindsided the historians and our people so that we don't even know our history.
Right.
I mean, how many people think Columbus discovered America? That's
everybody.
The craziest thing.
Yes, right.
So, you know, we got to start at home and uncover our own history, and whether it's the Celts making it into Oklahoma, whether it's the Indus Valley people making it to California,
right.
Whether it's the Romans or the Hebrews, this is part of our history, our multicultural heritage that we want to celebrate. So enough with the giggle factors. Let's look at this stuff with open-mindedness, and that's something that's lacking in the archaeological as well as the scientific community, and that's something that people in contact in the desert, like Andrew, are really bringing to the forefront, and that's what it's going to take to change the consciousness of not only the scientific community, but of humanity.
Yeah, whenever I talk to... thank you, man. And Carl's services will be held all week here in the pulpit. But this is what's irritating, Carl, and Andrew, jump in. But in North America, when you are talking to an archaeologist, anthropologist, even a historian or somebody in academia, and you're talking about North America, and once you get past 2,000 years ago, it's a very difficult conversation. It's like, you know what? No. What? 5,000? No. That's the attitude. They don't want to make any connections with land bridges or things that are predating. Or you bring up the Ice Age and beyond in North America, it is ridicule. And it's like, no, that's not what, no. And they don't want to say, well, that's interesting, maybe. You know what I mean? They don't want to consider it because the dogma says this is it, and the answer is quite simply we don't want to talk about it, and it's frustrating for all of us, right?
Well, they've got a certain paradigm, and their whole career is based upon that paradigm remaining, and trying to step out of it is in many ways very difficult for them, and it's like the whole Clovis first idea, which has now collapsed, thank God, is that it had to take all of the main proponents of it to die first before anything would change. And people, at universities knew that this was the case, that there was a certain old guard that would never, ever allow that paradigm to change. But thank God it is. And obviously as you say, the San Diego discovery 130,000 years ago. We don't even know they were humans, Homo sapiens like that. They could have been Neanderthals. They could have been Denisovans. In fact, it's probably more likely that they were Denisovans. And that just opens up such a whole bag of tricks of what the hell was going on in the Americas at this time.
I want to thank the both of you, and I really mean this. After sitting here listening to Andrew, I just feel smarter. Carl Lehrberger, and Andrew tomorrow.
Thank you.
Will be with me over in the amphitheater for the Forbidden Archaeology panel. Come and join us tomorrow night. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm just going to let everybody know you're in for a pretty good surprise, because coming up right in front of me, Erich von Daniken, Giorgio Tsoukalos are on their way to the stage. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Jason Martell's here. Jason Martell in the house, the best-looking man in paranormal. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We're live at Contact in the Desert 2017. Everybody, give it up right now. We'll be right back. T-shirt cannon next.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Reptilian. You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Gobekli Tepe.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, live from Contact in the Desert, and we got a packed house tonight. Give it up, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. And I'm just going to say this. We're just going to roll quickly right into this. we do this every single year. This is the third year in a row that Giorgio Tsoukalos, Jason Martell, and the one that got us all here, Erich von Daniken, have crashed the party. Give it up right here. Oh, absolutely incredible, you guys. Thank you for being here once again. And now we do this every year, you know, not only this, but Contact in the Desert. We get here. I'm going to start with Eric. Eric, great presentation today, by the way. But Eric, is this the best year yet here at Contact in the Desert? Pretty amazing.
Well, I'm here now the third time, I guess, huh? Yes. And I enjoy it, of course. But never forget, I flew over from Switzerland. I have a 9-hour time difference in my head.
Right.
That's why I feel a little tired. But I love to be here. I love the public. And I'm happy to have a chance to give my presentation.
Eric, have you... thank you, Eric. Eric, I've interviewed you a few times over the years, and it seems like I can't help but ask the same question. I'm not going to get a different answer, but I want to ask it for this audience. Did you have any bleeping idea that you would have the influence on the world and so many great fans that you have had? Here we are in 2017, that you were part of a paradigm shift in the thinking of this planet. It's pretty extraordinary. Did you have any idea as a young man?
You know, 50 years ago, in 1968, I came up with Chariots of the Gods.
Yes.
At that time, I was the managing director of a first-class hotel in Switzerland.
Right.
When Chariots come on the market, I never had the idea that it would become a worldwide bestseller. Now,
how many languages today?
Well, in the mean, 32. So
32 languages. Well, that's all of them, I think, right?
See, I was sure. I was sure to create a storm in the German-speaking world, Switzerland, Germany, and Austria.
Right.
But never in the world, never. And I'm very happy that it all happened because I try to change what I call the spirit of time, to change the spirit of time, to open the mind a little of the people, and I was quite successful.
Are you happy today?
Not happy, rather tired.
And I'm going to ask you this. We only have a few minutes together, and certainly we have a weekend in front of us. But everybody gets to a point in their life where they ask themselves, have they found their bliss? That internally, their heart, if they are happy with themselves. I'm going to ask you, sir, have you found your bliss? Are you happy with yourself?
I am not happy, that's not the word, but I am content, I am
satisfied. That's it.
Yeah.
Erich von Daniken, right now, thank you so much for everything that you have done for us.
Yes,
thank you. Let me get to these two young men. Do you know these guys? Did you just...
We met for the first time tonight.
Oh, come on.
We met for the first time tonight. I have no idea who these two are.
Eric's looking at you like, what? For you, Giorgio, working and you've had a great relationship with Jason and Erich over the years, and the success that you have attained with everybody else with Ancient Aliens. Thank you for that. It's been great. But is Erich real? Is he the real deal?
Yes, he is.
How has the influence been on you?
Erich is one of the most generous men I've ever met in my entire life.
Right.
And I wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be for Erich.
Oh, hold on. Where is Fran? Where is Fran? Fran. Okay, Erich, you know what I have here in German? I have a first edition of Chariots of the Gods in hardback.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and would you please, before you leave tonight, I'm going to get it. I need you. It would be such an honor. I don't even think you may not have seen this book for 50 years.
Well,
he's in shock. What are you talking about? It's going to be on eBay tomorrow, by the way. Okay, back to that. I just remembered as you spoke about that. What is his influence? And I know it's been tremendous, but today, for you, what has he taught you?
Well, he essentially taught me to question many things.
Right.
And to never stop asking questions. Because in this day and age, we think, or the great majority thinks, that we have the answers to a lot of questions.
Right, right.
And the truth of the matter is that we don't. It's still one gigantic question mark.
You said to me a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was tremendous. You said, Jimmy, when E.T. comes and lands on the White House lawn, it's not going to be take me to your leader. We're not going to trip on that. We're going to find out that all of us had it wrong. Potentially, we're in for a really big surprise.
Yes.
And that was a profound statement. And for you to say that, how did you come to that conclusion? Because that's about as honest of an answer as I've ever heard.
Well, because we really don't know what the outcome will be. And I choose to subscribe to the idea that because, according to the ancient astronaut theory, we were made in their image,
right,
that this will be a friendly encounter.
Right, right.
Because this whole idea of this, there seems to be a doom and gloom thing going on in our field. And I'm here to tell you, at least that is my vision, that is my idea, that it's a good thing. It's a friendly thing because according to the ancient astronaut theory and all the things that Erich has written for 50 years, we are their children. We're the children of the gods. So it would be so insane to propose that they're going to come here to harvest us for dessert.
Right. So well said.
It would have happened.
It would have happened.
It would have happened a long time ago.
We wouldn't be here now.
No, and we would have not been able
you wouldn't
to
have
develop
that hair.
nuclear weapons. I know, right?
Right.
Because the hair gel was not invented back then. Exactly.
You wouldn't have their speech. It was the extraterrestrials who taught our forefathers some thousands of years ago.
Yes.
Who learned us to speak.
Yes.
The language
yes.
comes from the extraterrestrial. The first writings came from the extraterrestrials.
Right.
We are the offsprings, and there is absolutely no reason to be afraid of them.
Right. Do you hear how quiet the room got when Erich started speaking?
Yes.
Right?
And rightly so.
Yeah, Jason Martell, the best looking man in paranormal. Everybody.
Yes.
Right there.
Thank you.
And
very humble, thank you.
Yes. Jason, congratulations. There she is.
Yes, I've recently engaged this beautiful woman in the front row.
And you know what's funny? It happened live on a panel. We were doing the Ancient Aliens panel.
Okay.
And Jason, I don't know if you know the story, Giorgio.
I saw the story.
Oh, you saw the story?
Yes.
Jason calls me up. Oh, I can't tell the secret. Oh, forget it. Taylor, that's between Jason and I. I almost let our secret slip.
Me privately,
yes,
yes.
But Taylor did not know it was happening. She's sitting right in front of me. I don't know. We had 300, 400, 500 people there, and Jason gets up and walks down and does the proper gentleman thing. Gets down on a knee and says, "Will you marry me?" And I'm crying like a little kid, and I'm looking all around these two. And everybody was, that's so sweet. And it was a magical moment, and you allowed us to be a part of it, our community, and congratulations to you two.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Now that we got that out of the way. Jason, you're sitting in between two pretty dynamic guys. And the success of what you guys have done with Ancient Aliens together as a team over the years, thank you for that. But I have to ask you, what have you learned from these two? They're friends, but they're colleagues. What have they taught you over the years?
I know we only have literally a couple minutes, if that, so I'll make my answer kind of short. But Jimmy, I'd have to say that I'm very humbled to sit between Erich and Giorgio. Giorgio has become a very good friend of mine. I consider him a brother. And, of course, through his friendship, getting to meet Erich in the times that I have.
You consider me as a father.
Depending on the topic, the father of many, many different things.
Yes.
But very humbled to have a relationship with both of these gentlemen. I compliment your choice of wearing pin there. That's very cool.
I stole that today. Giorgio didn't know about that.
Nice. Yes.
Oh, thanks for throwing me under that bus.
No,
Appreciate that.
I noticed it. But no, I'm very grateful to be doing what we're doing. The future is very bright for this knowledge and information. The influx of people having an open mind and a new awareness to just trying to find answers, I think, is wonderful. So I'm very grateful to get to do what we do.
Now, you guys have to go. I want to thank you for taking the time to come and hang out with us.
One thing I would like to say is that, there are so many tremendous people here, and none of us here on this panel are forgetting that the reason why we continue to be here, Eric, for over 50 years, is because of you guys.
That's exactly right.
It's the listeners.
Yes.
It's the fans.
Yes.
It's the people who take the time
yes.
to explore these places. And you don't understand what it means to me. There's like 2 or 3 people that came up to me today and they said, I went to Peru and I went to Bolivia
yes.
because of ancient aliens, because of what you, Eric, Jason are talking about, Childress. And, that's tremendous. If that's all that we've done, it's a success.
You know what?
So I'm very happy with that.
You know what, Giorgio? The entire world in this room would never know the words Puma Punku if it wasn't for you. Hey, guys, thank you so much for crashing the party.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
All right. Okay. Wow. I mean, okay, everybody, are you ready? How do you follow that up? Well, we're going to do it right now because coming up to the mics are Clifford Mahooty, come on, and Brian Forrester. Come on up. Are you guys believing yourselves right now? Is this crazy? Right? It's crazy. Oh, man. Oh, what's that? More shirts? T-shirt cannon? I can't hear you, but it doesn't matter because I have Brian Forrester here. Okay, in a minute. You know what? Are you saying that the only reason why you're part of this crowd is you're here for the T-shirts? Brian Forrester. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent, thank you.
You know, Brian, most people don't know you're 99 years old. You look amazing.
Thanks to Maybelline.
Brian, all the way up from Peru. And before we get over to Clifford, you know what? No, Clifford, step up on the mic really quick and say what's up to everybody. How are you?
What's up, everybody?
That's
How are
what
you?
I'm talking about. Wow. All right, Brian, we're going to talk about the subject tomorrow. You and I had a very passionate conversation a few hours ago. We were alone, and I think and when you're at those moments where you're alone, nobody's around us, and we're going to be very forward with each other. And I pushed you on a couple of questions because I wonder a lot of things. But, and we're going to discuss this tomorrow on the panel. I don't want to do it now because I want the audience to go, man, that wasn't cool, Church. We want to know what you're talking about. But one thing is for sure, the world is not what it seems. And every day that moves forward, we are finding out more and more that our past, not only with lost civilizations, but civilizations that we do know, and megalithic structures around the world, and elongated skulls, and evidence, and writings, and DNA, that we certainly, if not have been lied to directly about our past, that there is information that is being repressed about our past. And that is your job. That is what you do. Mm-hmm. How much is it everything? Is history itself, is it just one big lie?
It's been heavily edited and heavily restricted. And like with what some of the earlier panels said, the people in charge now of history either have to retire or die or play golf.
Well, I don't understand. And when you see these megalithic structures, and Clifford, you can jump in too, but when you see these structures, and somebody is trying to tell you one thing, when you know this is what you do and you're out there studying, and you know that it's simply not the truth, how can you... What is it that you have to do? You have to blow up a building? What do you need for attention? To get people to take notice that this is not. It's a lie. And Okay, everybody. This is what I said to Brian earlier today. I said I'm bleeping pissed off. Is that the words that came out of my mouth privately?
Yeah.
Okay. And I am. And it's frustrating to me. What is it that we have to do to get the man to listen, to start rewriting some books?
Well, we simply have to bring more science into the situation. When you depend upon one class of people, the archaeologists, to tell you the history of humanity, how things were built, it's very limited. But when you bring in engineers, architects, stonemasons, geologists, and other disciplines, then you start to get the full picture of what actually did happen and when it happened in the past.
Clifford, sacred sites, places around the United States. We look at here, which is Joshua Tree, California. There's a couple of magical places around that are certainly there. Mount Shasta, East Eddy Ranch, Mount Adams, some pretty Sedona, right? Some pretty sacred sites where the crazy things happen. But probably one of the most fun and interesting places is where we are right now. Why is Joshua Tree so magical?
Because in the beginning, what we call in the creation story, there was a lot of places that were defined by what we call our sky people, or what is now known as ET and others. Mm-hmm. And the basic term that I come from, Zuni Pueblo, we call them the raw people. These are the ones that are a group of ETs. They're what we call our fathers. We call our people that started us to give us the knowledge, basically two things, the scientific and the spirituality combination and all other parts thereof. We include in sacred geometry, agriculture, kinship, and I think Cory Goode said it a while ago, is that service to others. And one of our biggest charge is to take care of Mother Earth. That's what we were put on this, or upgraded on this planet for, to take care of Mother Earth, and also to take care of humanity as a group effort, and also to provide love among each other as mankind and other living beings, not only the animals, plants, but other things that we cannot see, which are falls into the etheric plane. And I have been talking about this for a number of years. And one of the things that we talk about in a lot of, especially in the scientific world, is called taking a risk. I am one of the very few individuals that took the risk to take some of the ancient teachings, which are still intact to this day, to come in because of my scientific and engineering background. Right. It took me about 60 years to decipher it. I'm still learning right now. To take that entities of both sides and to come up with some networking to put these together. And when I put what we call science and our spirituality and other points thereof, we put it together, and it fits very perfectly.
As it should, right?
It should.
As it should. And you said something very interesting, something that, us dumb, Caucasians can't grasp. Everybody laugh. Don't be so serious. You said us, our culture, us, we. Mm-hmm. And you also said in the same sentence, our ET brothers, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
We don't do that. We should, right? And I'm going to say this in such a way that I want you to either be offended or not be offended, but I'm going to speak it as it should be, which is, why doesn't everybody just speak that way? Why is it just you guys? You know what I mean? I don't understand why the rest of the world can't accept the fact that there's a possibility of something else going on.
Well, one of the things that when it comes down to mankind, total mankind, we speak in terms, we are colorblind, for one thing. We do not speak as these black people, these red people,
right.
these yellow people.
Right.
We said that our brothers that are from the different part of the universe, in other words,
right.
their ET connection is there, but we have always talked about this. The fact remains is that the early explorers of this country here, we're talking about archaeologists, anthropologists,
right.
and so on, they were already dead set in their own thinking, and they applied it. And this is why I broke out of that when I was a little kid, because I did not believe in what they were talking about.
Right, right.
And so this is where now we're catching up. The only problem is that some of the information is all oral history.
Right.
And we're talking about sacred sites.
Right.
We're talking about sacred sites throughout this country. They're all over, especially the United States. And why are we not going back in there and talking to the remnants of those civilizations, such as the Pueblo people? Some of those tribes have already been wiped out in the eastern seaboard area, the Midwest area, and the only presence right now is in the Four Corners region. And there's still a lot of information that's buried under a lot of lands that are now controlled by the government.
Clifford Mahooty for president. Are you guys with me on this one?
So it's taken a lot of doing to get to this point.
Right.
I'm very fortunate that I was talked to by the ancient alien people about 5 years ago, and I met a lot of these people like von Daniken. Okay, when you talk about the first book that Eric wrote, I had just gotten out of college. I was working with Shell Oil, and the engineers that we work with in the Shell Oil Corporation was that was a real shocker to all of us technical people. But the thing that kind of puzzled me, I said, how come you guys are just surprised? We already know about that stuff.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. About the chariots of the gods. When we went, for example, we went from, I come from a reservation. There's no electricity, no running water, no telephones, whatever. But we have what we call books. And I went from... I went from Isaac Asimov directly into Erich von Daniken. And I am now fortunate to say that I finally met the guy that was my hero back in the 60s. And I talked with him a lot. And
right on, man.
And I feel honored and I feel humbled to be talking with the people here. And to at least give them a smidgen of what we have held back for a number of years so that we can expand our thinking and incorporate this into a better information system in the educational process.
Okay, we have 1 minute left, and I'm sorry, Brian, but I'm gonna spend it with Clifford here. You know,
you should.
Yeah, I have to ask.
He's my uncle.
Yeah, I have to ask you this. This. There's nobody better to ask this question. 4 years ago, Contact in the Desert. Some of the Fadernauts were here. Who was with me at our cabin out in the middle of the desert? Nobody. Okay, there was like 10 of us out there. We're at the edge of the mountains. In front of our cabin is nothing but desert, right? And then the mountains. And right then, somebody said, hey, it'd be cool if we saw something, right? And at that moment, like they heard us, out about 300 feet away, out in the middle of the blackness of the desert, a white ball of light took off from the desert floor and lasted about, check this, 2 seconds. This is what it did, Clifford. Like, he's going to go, so what? See it all the time. But it went like this. Pew, and became a star. Gone. 2 seconds. And no trail, no smoke, no spark, just a white ball when somebody said, be cool if we saw something. Right? Now, the next day, I went out to see what was in the desert out there, and there's nothing, right? Nothing. What did I see?
You saw the spirit people, and they're here even right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're sitting right here, and that's why when we all go into our rituals, we do the humbleness prayer. We ask them to.
So are you surprised with what I just told you?
No.
Clifford.
In my backyard, I used to take people out there,
Yeah.
especially the guys that say, "Oh, I can handle anything." When the orbs come through the mountains, they used to run away to my house, and I say, "Come on out." They say, "There's nothing. They're not going to hurt you." So this has been going on forever.
Oh, it was just, it was on cue.
Mhm.
It was on cue.
Mhm.
It's beyond coincidence, right? Just on cue. They heard us, boom, little show and tell.
Yep.
Clifford Mahooty, thank you for all that you've done, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Thank you so much. Brian Forrester, we're going to take a break. Brian is going to be with me tomorrow night. Oh, no. You are not. Maybe he is.
Okay.
And anyway, we're going to take a break. This is Contact in the Desert 2017, our special event. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'm going to take a break right here. Who's going to hang out for T-shirts? That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Clifford. You are the very best. Brian, I love you, brother. Thank you so much. All right, who's up next, Rita? Who's up next? Point. Mike Bara and Michael Salla? Are you? No, that's too big. That's too big. Let's go smaller. Let's go smaller. Coming up next, Michael Salla, Michael Bara, right here.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
End time is not what you thought. In their new book, 122436, authors Mike and Cheryl Gilmore bring forth a startling new idea on the beginning of humankind, how life begins on Earth, and when our Creator concludes this age. In the book, 122436, three small groups of individuals, separated by thousands of miles, discover together the answers to the beginning of our universe and all the life it contains. Mike Gilmore is the author of 5 Levels of Power novels and the Sled Investigation series. Cheryl Gilmore is current state director in South Carolina for MUFON and brings a lifetime of experience with UFOs and related fields. As a team, their new book about life in the near future on Earth sets aside most people's religious and scientific beliefs. Available exclusively on Amazon in softback for $8.99 or the ebook price for only $2.99. Remember, Amazon softback $8.99, ebook only $2.99. 122436. Get your copy today.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. Nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Contact in the Desert 2017. This is Fade to Black. Welcome, everybody. Give it up. And joining us right now, I mean, seriously, look in front of you. We have Whitley Strieber. Yes. Mike Bara. Yes. And Dr. Michael Salla. Now, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. We only have a few minutes with everybody. I'm going to start with Whitley. And Whitley, I need to be straight. I'm going to say this. Thank you. Everybody, please say thank you right now to Mr. Whitley Strieber.
Thank you. Thank you back.
You're so special to all of us. But Whitley, throughout the years, how do you think, and you've spoke about this a lot publicly, but you know what? I think for you, you're evolving, maturing, and going through an evolutionary process every single day. And you've been doing that with us also quite publicly, too, as well. How has contact changed for you that you think would be most important for us to understand the most? What is going on, and what have you learned?
Well, first, there's more happening in my life now in this respect that is concrete to me. In other words, things that I can point to that definitely happened that never has been true in the past.
Right.
In the past, there's often been an extraordinary experience, but not with a definite kind of edge to it. That's not true now. It is often a very definite edge to it. And in terms of the evolutionary change, after my wife passed away, it was a profound difference. She always said during her life, after reading tens and hundreds of thousands of letters about this, she said, this has something to do with what we call death. And now that she is there in that level of reality, she is interacting with me in ways that to me have proved her presence.
Was she always the smart one in the room, Whitley?
She was really brilliant.
Yes.
She was awesomely brilliant and also incredibly fast. Like, she's left behind a catalog of 30,000 letters,
incredible,
which is going to go to Rice University,
right,
and is going to be studied. And the professor at Rice, who's seen the first box of letters, says it's the best repository of narrative of any type of unusual experience narrative in the world, and she created that. And so, but also, right after the experience, I was really agonizing. What do I say to my wife? You know, what about now that I've kind of gotten this together? Because I was mooning around the house, I was all crazy, and she was I was driving her nuts because obviously something was wrong that I wouldn't tell her about. And Anne was a very forceful, straightforward person. She did not like that, and she was making that known.
Right.
And so I told a dear friend of ours, Timothy Greenfield Saunders, the story first. And he said, have you told Anne? I said, no. That's why I told you. I wanted to see how it sounded. He said, well, go ahead and tell her. I said, what do you think will happen? He said, well, you know, you just tell her and see what happens. So I told her, and I thought, is she going to pick up the phone and say, divorce lawyer, or what will happen? And she just rolled with it. She understood it better than I did. And 10 minutes after I told her the story, she said, thank God.
Somebody gets it.
Yeah. And I said, what do you mean, thank God? She said, because now I know why you've been so weird and you're not actually crazy.
Right.
And I said to myself, I tell her I was taken aboard a flying saucer by little men, and her reaction is, oh, good, you're not crazy. That was awesome. I mean, what an incredible human being.
Absolutely.
And she took a hold of this. She was on top of the whole communion book, editing it, adding ideas, coming up with stuff. And then when the letter started to come in, she made that all happen. We went to a Indian reservation one time, and we both spoke. And afterwards, the chief of the tribe that we were at came up and said, Mrs. Strieber, we've given you an Indian name. It's 3/4. And she said, what does that mean? He said, it means he's 1/4.
Whitley, again, thank you for everything that you have done for us. You've been so influential on a few generations now. The impact has been profound on me personally, and I'll speak for everybody in this room. You the man. Thank you so much, and I really mean that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome for man, too.
Man, see, that's what happens when we have a great conversation, and this is live radio. Whitley just took up everybody else's time. I'm just kidding. See, don't panic. Mike Bara. Mike, I'm just going to say this, man. You're never afraid to speak your mind. No, ever. And have you always been like that? When you were a New York Times bestseller, were you holding back? I mean, the first book.
Why do you have to bring it up when I'm sitting next to this
Yeah,
guy?
yeah,
It's
right.
like 10,000 times.
It's you three gentlemen sitting next to me. It's pretty powerful and wonderful and intimidating all at the same time. But Mike, were you holding back then, or do you think that you were being as vocal with the community like you are today? Have you changed?
No, I haven't changed a bit. I've always been like this. And it's like, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist at all. And then TWA 800 happened. And based on my aerospace background, I knew that the FBI guys were getting up there and they were lying through their teeth. I knew that airplanes do not explode in midair all by themselves.
Right.
No matter what anybody says. I mean, the bottom line is the conditions in that fuel tank have been reproduced probably millions of times over the years, and nothing's ever exploded. So that once I knew that, I just felt like I just got to talk about it. I call myself a born-again conspiracy theorist because, what do born-again Christians do? They proselytize, right? They have to tell everybody. So I was just like out there, and that's what I did. And then, of course, then I was associated with Hoagland, and I didn't take me very long to figure out that on a whole lot of stuff, he was dead right. And I felt like his critics were not very intellectually honest. And so it was kind of like some people just like to fight. And
like you and I.
And I kind of like to fight
in
some ways.
I'm going to say this. Mike and I have been really close friends for a number of years, but we have a lot of dinners over at our house, and Mike is a frequent guest, almost too often. And
thank you. Yes.
And we have had the most passionate, engaged, intense arguments. Part of it is vodka,
which I win.
Yes, never won once, but that's what I love about Mike. He just lays it out all on the table, and he sticks to his guns, and he's usually wrong, Jimmy, but he doesn't bend, and I love it.
It takes me a long time to come to a position on any given issue.
Right.
I was in my 50s before I actually saw a UFO of some kind, something I could literally.
Are you talking about
identify.
when you were with me, or was that another?
No, that was the third time.
That was the third time.
There was one time, both were associated with the Uncovering Aliens.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
One was in New York City,
and one was right here at Contact in the Desert.
And one was right here at Contact, and the biggest one was in Gerald, Arizona, near Sonoma.
Right.
But it takes me a long time to decide what my position is. But once I decide, it's like boom, that boulder's rolling downhill.
Mike, we love you, man, and don't ever change. All right, Mike Bara. Now, I was talking about Andrew Collins earlier. When he talks, he just makes you feel smarter. But Michael Salla is not only with everybody here, but a frequent guest on Fade to Black and Coast to Coast with me as well, right? Today, I will say that, Whitley, are you bailing? Whitley just got up. You see that? Whitley's like, church is done with me, man. I'm going to head out.
Fortunately, my pants stayed up, but they almost didn't.
Whitley just got up and was walking out.
No, that's not actually what I was doing, but never mind.
That was classic. Oh, man. All right. Whitley, we have free parting gifts for you, too, so you might want to stick around.
All right.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Michael, there are a few things that are going on today in our community. Antarctica, the secret space program, whistleblowers. It's the biggest talk. It's the biggest controversy. And you have caused all of it, and you're at the center of it. Yes. That's right. I'm calling out. Right now, it is crazy out there, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of people that are mystified that this issue has become so popular so quickly, and they're trying to work out what it is about the people who are sharing these stories that is captivating so many others around the world. And everyone knows about the Cory Goode phenomenon on Gaia TV, how that has really just taken off. And people are really trying to answer that question. Well, how could this be? I mean, is he talking about things that really have happened, or is this some kind of elaborate hoax? And people are all over the place in terms of answers to those questions.
But let me jump in. Let me jump in, though. This is where I'm going to disagree with you. You've been talking about this for a very long time. And the fact that it has caught on quickly lately is one thing, but for you, it's probably not quite as sudden a feeling, is it?
Well, I think I've been involved in exopolitics for well over a decade now, coming on to 2. And I think that's kind of different to this secret space program issue that's just kind of captivated people, because exopolitics is all about extraterrestrial life and why they're here, how they're interacting with us. And there are a lot of people that have experiences that connect with those issues, and they're very interested, but there's a whole lot of other people that just still can't relate to it. They still can't accept that thesis. And, it sounds silly, but scientists come up with these kind of ridiculous arguments that, if they travel at the speed of light, it would take them, 15 years to get here from some star system out there. And so it's just not possible for them to be kind of like traveling here and interacting with us, given the lengths of the galactic space. But of course, we know that that's based on these modern propulsion systems, rocket propulsion. But if you're talking about extraterrestrials that have been around for millions of years, they've got propulsion systems that are superluminal, so they can get from A to B much more quickly.
And are you surprised? You and I were just talking about this. Are you surprised that it has gone as viral as it has in the last 12 months like it has? Because it has certainly caught the attention of millions, where we've been trying to fight this message for so long, and then suddenly, boom.
Yeah, I think it's just the way a lot of people have chosen to wake up. I mean, because the UFO issue has been studied ad nauseum for decades. Exopolitics also, close to 2 decades. But now the secret space program issue is something that a lot of people are embracing, and I think it's because there's a lot of grounded information there that people can engage with, and people intuitively know that, of course the military have been reverse engineering these technologies that they've gotten from all over the place, and of course they would have put things up there in space that they're not going to tell us. And so I think a lot of people intuitively know that the military have much more advanced stuff, and so they hear the secret space program whistleblowers and witnesses come forward, and they kind of get answers to a lot of these questions that they've formed.
I want to thank all three of you. And this is the best contact in the desert yet. And again, the message, you guys have all been there with us, and we really appreciate everything that you have done over the years. Thank you so much, everybody. Please give it up. Whitley Strieber, Mike Bara, Dr. Michael Salla. Thank you so much. And we're just going to keep this moving right along right now.
Get up and go.
Yeah, we're going to just keep this moving. I'm going to bring to the stage right now the time traveler, Jason Quitt. Jason, come on up. Jason Quitt, everybody, and ex-FBI agent, now turned alien investigator, John DeSouza. John DeSouza. And coming up in a bit, as everybody has noticed, Linda Moulton Howe has wandered in. And yes, she came up and kissed me when Rita wasn't looking. I'm looking in the back of the room, so everybody just sit down and relax. I see Peter Lavenda right there. I just saw Jacques Vallée is in the house. Yeah, everybody's like, no, what? So just relax. I see Nick Pope is in the house. I don't know how we're going to do this all in one night, but are you guys cool with it? Are you guys cool with it? Yeah, I thought you could deal with it. All right. Man, it's not too often. Jason Quitt, John DeSouza. I don't know how you two have joined hands lately, but I do want to hear that story. But it's not too often that we have time travelers here. And Jason, or actually a basketball NBA star / time traveler. Jason, when you first came on Fade to Black, you freaked out a large number of people very quickly. How was that? Were you ready for that kind of reaction, and how your life just kind of turned around as quick as it did? Pretty amazing broadcast that was, and the way that you spoke to everybody. Time travel's a trippy thing, right? How's your life different today, my friend?
Well, since I was on your show and since we released the book, Forbidden Knowledge, Revelations of a Multidimensional Time Traveler.
Keep going.
I haven't stopped moving. So I've just been traveling and speaking.
No, yeah, you've been traveling, all right.
Not, well, I need to relax and then I can go on those other journeys.
Yeah,
right?
Take a deep breath. Yeah, exactly. Now, forever, we don't have the time tonight, but I encourage everybody in this room, if you listen to Jason on Fade to Black, have we done Coast to Coast yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so he'll be on Coast here soon. But go out and hang out with this young man right here, because his story, his life's journey is about as incredible. How old are you?
I think I'm 35.
35 years old, and the things that he has done. So hang out with Jason and ask him some questions. But we don't have the time to get into it right now. But in a general sense, Jason has the ability to leave his body with some guides that take him to different points of time. Now, I want you to think about and digest what I'm saying. It's too broad of a pen. Jason, the first time that this happened to you, did you know that you were time traveling?
Well, when I was dropped off on a location on the Earth, I didn't recognize it. And that's when I realized maybe it was not a location or time period that I was familiar with.
Did you think at that point that it could have been just a really cool dream? And that was what you were seeing as opposed to a different point in time?
I wish it was a dream.
That's what I'm talking about. Jason, you're incredible, man. And your story is absolutely incredible. Jason's booth is here. And again, tonight, I just love talking to you because we can just talk forever. But Jason's book and his booth and everything are right outside. Go and visit with Jason and get the book. His story is absolutely incredible. And one of the most enjoyable interviews I've done over the years, my friend. And just thank you for stepping forward and taking the courage to speak about this, because it is absolutely incredible. And thank you, Jason Quitt, everybody. No joke. Now, John DeSouza, along with Jason Quitt, is also a troublemaker. Yes, 20 years in the FBI. Okay, don't get offended, don't get mad. Everybody's like, oh man, that's it, man. He's one of them. You know what? You look like one of them. You know that, don't you?
No, I did not.
How do you go from a career in the FBI you could have gone on and just done your thing. And you're sitting here on a paranormal conspiracy radio show right?
Yeah.
At a UFO conference. Yeah. What does your friends and family say now? And your buddies in the FBI, what do they think about you?
Well, it's kind of something they could see coming over the years. I mean, during my time in the FBI, I was in the FBI for over 20 years as a special agent investigator. And so I always had involvement with the paranormal. And I also always worked big terrorism cases over the years. And I also refused to participate in the war on drugs. So because of that and because of the cases that I worked, I was probably one of the most decorated agents in the FBI, but also probably one of the most punished as well.
Right.
So I always stood out in that sense. So yeah, a lot of my friends in the FBI were not too shocked.
You know, this is what's crazy. We all love the X-Files, right? Yeah. And we always wonder, Mulder and Scully, is it real? I mean, what's going on? Well, without going too deep, we've talked about this a lot, but without going too deep, the first time you find out that the FBI has probably got some pretty crazy stuff going on, and some stories were related to you from other agents inside, and there were cases that were ongoing that were pretty bizarre. We don't have the time right now. But how it went at that point, did you just step back and go, man, this is really going on for real?
Yeah, I did. When high-up officials in the FBI questioned the creator of the X-Files, Chris Carter, and questioned me on whether we had been on contact on some of these cases, what I understood was some of the cases at the X-Files were taken from real FBI files. But the higher-ups had to interview Chris Carter and me without letting us know which stories were the real X-Files that were used. So they had to say, well, it was just procedural matters that were being revealed. So now we have to find out how these things are being revealed.
So you're saying right now, in front of everybody here, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to respond. You can respond with one word. Are you saying that the X-Files was a documentary?
Parts of it were. I believe so.
Really?
Yeah. But they couldn't, so they had to interrogate us on that, but they couldn't tell us which stories they wanted to know about, because that would reveal which ones they were.
You know what kind of holy crap moment I'm having right now? Anybody sharing that with me?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but I put as many of them as I could in my book, The Para Investigators. That was the best I could do, which ones I thought were being used.
When you walk around as an FBI agent, do you recognize other agents out there that are trying to be low-key? Do you guys have a way of detecting each other?
Usually what we will have, the lapel pin will be a certain color.
Okay, without the lapel pin. What I'm wondering is, we got any feds here at this conference?
I saw some guy dressed in black that looked pretty suspicious. Did you guys see him?
Is that right?
Yeah, that was that on purpose? Or?
No, that was Clyde Lewis.
Okay.
That was Clyde Lewis.
Okay. Because that guy made me nervous.
Yeah, well, Clyde has that effect on people.
Yeah, you have to ask at the beginning of your presentation, anybody here from the FBI or the police? And if you are, you have to tell me so, please.
Do you think that there's any agency people here? I mean, there's 4,000 people here. It's kind of hard to tell.
No, they don't have to be here physically present, but they probably are listening through NSA lines.
Well, that I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. Oh, yeah.
That they're doing.
Wait. Yeah, they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that sometimes when I say the word declassified too many times, suddenly everything starts going down.
Man, you're the greatest, John and Jason. Really quick, we've got about 30 seconds left. How did you two meet? And you've got a pretty dynamic relationship going on right now. We don't need to talk about the controversy. That stuff's going to work itself out. Anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, hit us up outside, and we'll talk about that. I don't want to do it here. We're having too much of a good time. Yeah. But how did you two hook up?
I think it was at the last.
God, did I say that right?
So it's okay with me.
Look, he's red. Jason.
We met at the UFO con in
San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And we started talking about extra-dimensional topics.
Right.
Well, he calls it multi-dimensional.
Right.
And we found that a lot of our ideas, like the ones I have about alien visitors, being multi-dimensional, go right hand in hand with his thinking on astral travel and time travel.
You know, you're working with the only lawyer, FBI agent, alien hunter that I know.
I hired him.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
He's my attorney now.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. All right, thank you so much, Jason Quitt and John DeSouza. And right with that, I get to actually take a little bit of a break here. I'm going to do that, and I'll find out who's coming up next. So you guys just sit tight. This is Fade to Black. We are live from Contact in the Desert. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back. Give it up for yourselves.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
My name's Doug Salamone, and I have a new show for you that will blow your mind. So what kind of show is it? It's a podcast, and it's called In the News. And you can find us at inthenewspodcast.com. We talk about what's new, what's crazy, what's out of this world, and we'll dissect those thoughts, ideas, and events right here on the show. And hear all the news you may have missed or really don't give a crap about, but want to hear anyways. So come on over and meet me at inthenewspodcast.com. That's inthenewspodcast.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Gobekli Tepe.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Linda, we're live. Can we do the show? Is it okay? Welcome back. Contact in the Desert. Let's go, man. Packed house. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and I want to say this to everybody here. You know, for me, I want you to think about this for a second. I broadcast underground from a bunker, as everybody knows, no windows, alone, and I don't get this. I don't get this interaction. Think about that. And you guys giving me this vibe, it's hot, it's sweaty. We almost need some alcohol up in here, right? But this interaction is priceless. And again, thank you. All right? Seriously, give it up for you. Thank you. Because I'm just alone, man. I'm just alone all the time. Look who are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? To my left, Peter Lavenda in the house, the one and only. I want to personally thank Peter. As we all know, Jim Mars went down for the count for a little bit. He's okay. Linda and I briefly spoke to him today on the phone. Yeah. And Jim's cool, but this is a community that supports each other. And at the last moment when Jim was in the hospital, we reached out immediately to Peter Lavenda. Peter was on Coast to Coast with me Saturday, right? This past Saturday, and at that point, this past Saturday, everybody, okay, this just went down, and we immediately went through everything that we could. So everybody here, Contact in the Desert, Paul Andrews, Victoria, Crystal, Tim Gunn, and my wife Rita. I want to thank her for putting. For getting immediately was able to get Peter on the phone, and so between now and then, Peter stepped up to come in and fill some very big shoes with Jim Mars. And so, Peter, I just want to personally thank you, man. I'm getting choked up. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You know, Peter was like, I got to check my schedule.
Well, yeah. I can't just say yes immediately.
Right. Yeah.
I got to
work it out a little bit. Yeah. Right. And there she is, sitting right here next to me once again, Linda Moulton Howe.
Thank you.
I had the privilege 2 years ago to give Linda a Lifetime Achievement Award. It was one of the great moments of my life, and that day was something that I will treasure. And Linda posted it on her
Earth File.
A Wikipedia page. It's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, it is.
You go to Linda's Wikipedia page, and there's a picture of her, and it says, well, Linda getting presented her Lifetime Achievement Award from Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. I'm like, how could I'm not in Wikipedia. No, I get there because of Linda, and that's what I'm talking about. Linda Moulton Howe, everybody. All right. Now, I was just talking about agents in the house on the property, and I can officially say we have somebody here from the MOD. The one and only, please, our friend, Nick Pope. Nick. And with that, hey, Nick, I'm going to start with you, my friend. Do you still have the agency blood in you? Are you still, do you ever retire?
No, the secrecy...
Stop right there.
The Secrecy Act, of course, is binding for life, so the fact that I have left is not something that has a bearing. And no, you never really leave in one sense. You do a job like that, and actually I was in for 21 years. It is in the blood. I'm still in touch with a lot of the people, even though I now live in the US and I've lived out here for 5 or 6 years now.
Right.
But no, it is a part of me, and it always will be. And it's a part that I was very proud of. I mean, I was in the MOD 21 years. Only 3 of those were on the UFO project. So I did lots of other interesting things too, and I will never forget that.
And your father was before you. So you are a father's son.
Yes, my father, I haven't really talked about this much, but my father was Deputy Chief Scientific Advisor at the MOD, and that's essentially because the Chief Scientific Advisor is always an outside appointment from academia, so he was the Ministry of Defense most senior scientist.
Now, when are we going to see, I'm getting a little exhausted, when are we going to see the missing documents?
Well, good question. News literally in, I think, the last 2 days, 1 or 2 days. The files were, and these are 18 files. They said that they'd released them all in June.
How many pages?
probably several hundred, maybe even several thousand. Each file can contain at least 100 documents, sometimes a couple of hundred, 300 even.
Okay, the breaking news is?
The breaking news is that they were getting ready to release these files, but then the British, as you've probably heard, are having a general election. And because of this, the file release program is on hold. Now, that's really interesting, because if you look at the election rules, there's nothing that says that the day-to-day business of government stops.
I thought you still need to basically keep the country moving forward, right?
Yes, absolutely. But what the rules do say is that anything new or contentious must be put on hold until after the election, in case it either advantages or disadvantages a particular political party or candidate. So the question, of course, that people are asking now is, what is it about the release of these files that's contentious? Why would it fall under the rules that we in the UK call Purdah rules?
Can't you call up the Queen Mother? Don't you?
Well, that would be a good trick, given that she died in, where...
What?
The Queen Mother, not the Queen.
Oh, the Queen. Well, we don't know the difference over here.
Nick, the reason they would be contentious is that there are at least two that say policies having to do with UFOs or UAPs.
Yes, there are policy files and there are 18 still to be released. There was if we have time, there was a great story of ping pong between the National Archives and the Ministry of Defense on this. The National Archives got sent the files, then the Ministry of Defense said, no, wait, stop, we need them back. And they called them back, which was unprecedented, apparently because somebody had forgotten to redact some information.
Yeah, it was right there. It almost popped anyway, right?
Yes, it was all ready to go, then they got called back. There are two slightly different versions of the story out there, depending on whether you listen to the National Archives or the Ministry of Defense.
Right.
And then the election came. They are now saying that 14 of the 18 files should be released very shortly after the election, maybe even mid to late June, so almost straight after the election, which is June 8th.
Right.
The other 4, we wait. It may be later this year. It may be 2018. Don't forget, all this was supposed to be... When I started this, and I made the official announcement, even though I'd left the MOD, I made the official announcement in May 2008 on the National Archives website. It's on their YouTube feed saying, today is a great day for open government and freedom of information. We thought this was going to take 2 or 3 years. It's now taken 9.
Right. Man, you are passionate. I'm sitting here... I'm like, calm down, Nick. Calm down.
Well, I know that we've only got a few minutes, so I'm trying to talk quickly.
And I'm also thinking, I'm almost believing him, but he's one of them. I got to back up. Hey, Nick, thank you so much, my friend. And I got to say, we have been patient, but excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse with this is it's becoming a bit much. Now it's an election. Okay, so let's deal with this. But let's get the election behind us. But at some point, it's like put up or shut up with this.
And it's John Burroughs,
yes,
the guy who leveraged this out because he wouldn't give up trying to send FOIA to the MOD. And it is John wanting to know what happened to him.
Yeah, and that's the point.
They got this list
Linda,
out.
that is the point.
Yeah.
And also the point is John needs to find out now that you're my new co-host and you've dropped him. Linda,
we'll do it. You and I can work, and he and I can work.
He can research.
Let me just say one more. Let me just say one more thing.
Nick, on you go. Fly a mission. Drop a bomb.
On John Burroughs, because this is important. John Burroughs is one of the heroes of this story.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
Persistent FOI requests. The thing that is particularly of concern to him, and Linda, you know this, and you can probably pick this up, but it's the weaponization of the UAP phenomena that is of particular interest. And there is a classic quote in Project Condign, the declassified MOD intelligence assessment of this phenomenon, where it talks about the scientific and technological spin-offs that might come from a better understanding of this. And it specifically goes on to talk about directed energy weapons weapons, high-frequency weapons, RF weapons.
And they wrote it as fact, Nick. And the point is, the way that they wrote it, the only message that we can get out of that is that they have direct evidence and they know exactly what not only affected him, but would affect anybody that would be in the presence of a UAP.
And Jimmy, that is exactly the point of
Bam!
this 460-page, it's the DI-55 submission to the MOD in 2000, and it's unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP. The phrase that Hillary finally picked up on 2 months before the election, but in there, in a section having to do with mental effects, that's what it says, the sentence references specifically the Rendlesham Forest incident, and that the terahertz, they don't use the term terahertz, but that's what we're dealing with.
Right.
And that the UAPs, which here would be UFOs, release and emit frequencies that can manipulate the human mind
and affect
and damage human tissues. It's right there in the report.
It's in the report. What do they want us to deduce from that except for what it says?
And Jimmy,
you know what I mean, Nick?
What happened to John Burroughs?
Yes.
He goes in, he's age 20. He had gone through all of the Air Force testing. There was nothing wrong with his heart. There was nothing wrong with his eyes. He was a strong 6'6" guy.
Right.
He is the only human seen by other people to have been engulfed by light twice.
Right.
1 year or less after December 26th to 28th, 1980, he is having a physical. And in one of his eyes, there is white matter that would be like something you would see in a cataract.
Right.
Today we know that terahertz frequency will impact eye tissue.
Yes.
He is diagnosed with a heart murmur. He didn't have a heart murmur going into the Air Force.
That's right.
And now,
you know what?
Let finish this out because this is really important. The heart is chambered, which means there are hollow parts of the heart. What they now know is terahertz frequency will especially affect organs where there are any hollow areas with the terahertz frequency.
And what's crazier for me, look, Linda, that is the front side of it. That is the facts. That is what it's the facts. But that, for me, that's not what's more important. You know what's more important than that? That they frigging suppressed his own medical records and classified it as top secret and denied him medical treatment only in the end after all of that work. And if he hadn't have done it, you know what? He would have been completely screwed as a human being.
He would be dead.
As somebody that fought for this country and did everything that he did. And if it wasn't for his due diligence and not giving up, that to me is most important. But you know what's even more important than that? Hold on. I got Peter Levenda behind you. And, you know, and Linda, I could talk to you for... Linda and I talk on the phone 3 hours a pop. 3 hours. Linda, I got to go. But, yeah.
To talk about.
Linda, I got to go. But, and then we just... And the next thing you know, it's like, Linda, it's 4 a.m. So what we're doing here is nothing new. Linda, thank you so much. Seriously, Linda Moulton Howe. Now, I want to say this really quick, and we're running over time here, but Peter is not only somebody that I admire, but Peter is personally responsible for one of the most important films on the internet, the videos that you will ever watch. And if you haven't done it, take out a pen right now and write this down. It is called... he's in Amsterdam, and it's called The Secret Space Program, the presentation, I believe. Am I correct, sir?
You are correct.
And that presentation is one of the greatest events in human history, and it is the reason to own and possess the internet. That is one of the most incredible videos ever. Thank you, Peter, for doing that. That video was a game changer. Now, you were there, you had Dolan there, you had all these great things, and you point that out at the beginning. Wow, this is like opening up for the Beatles, right, or whatever it was, Led Zeppelin. Great comment. Did you have any idea, man, putting that presentation together, the effect that it would have on us today? Did you know that you were doing that, man?
I didn't have a clue.
You didn't,
I didn't know what I was doing there in the first place. I didn't have a clue. And they said, just do your usual thing, man. Just do your usual thing. So I did my usual thing. I don't know. What do I know?
Insane.
I never went to a UFO presentation before in my life. Okay, this was the first time. So
so somebody posted the other day on Twitter and said, if there is a Connecting the Dots Hall of Fame, Peter Levenda is a first-year inductee, right? Now, but Peter, and don't sell yourself short. Your research is second to none, right? All of us look to you, right, for your research. But you managed to connect the dots from Seattle, Washington in 1947, right? Kenneth Arnold and the FBI, to the Catholic Church, pointy hats, the Nine, the Kennedy assassination. We could probably throw Roswell in there, moving all the way forward to the secret space program, von Braun, Parsons, JPL, Black Magic, Aleister Crowley, to who am I leaving out? L. Ron Hubbard is probably in this story, right? In one presentation that all can be fact-checked and vetted.
Because they all had hats.
They all had pointy hats, right?
That was the connective.
Not the KKK. We're talking about the Catholic Church. Relax, everybody. Okay. I'm serious, Peter. After I watched that presentation the first time, this is what I said to myself. I'm freaking out right now, but there's no way that this will pan out. I will fact check this, and this will not work. But it did. It's one of the craziest presentations ever, my friend.
For sure. But that just goes to show you that if you really look for the data, it's there. You don't have to make stuff up. The stuff is there already. I mean, it takes a little bit of work to find it. But if you have an open mind, look at the data, and look at it and say, wait a minute, this sounds like this or that sounds like that. Start putting it together, and weird things happen, man.
I want everybody to get really loud for these three guests right there. Peter Levenda, Linda Moulton Howe, and the one and only Nick Pope. Thank you so much, guys, and have the rest of the conference just be as wonderful as it was today. Thank you so much. There you go. Coming to the stage right now. I'm looking. It's Clyde Lewis, everybody. Keep the applause going. Clyde Lewis. All right, now, I'm your host, Jimmy Church. And who do we have with Clyde? Or is Clyde by himself? He's the man that, with so much voice, he only needs himself. Whoa, Clyde. Come on in, my brother. Pull that back. Let's do this. Look, I'm my own engineer. See, I'm not like you, Clyde. I don't drive a Rolls Royce and have engineers.
No, I just got hugged by Linda Moulton Howe, and I'm kind of delirious.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay.
There we go. Hey, is this mic going to work?
Yeah,
it's working.
Man, yeah.
Something's happening.
Man, I thought I had pipes, man. We got Barry White in here.
Hi, everybody.
Clyde Lewis, everybody. Clyde Lewis, ground zero. Now, one of the great things about our relationship, Clyde, which I think it's a rare one in this industry.
Yes.
But the other day, we what day was it? Was it what's today? Do we even know what today is? Today's
it was a couple of days
today's
ago.
Friday.
Yeah.
So it would have been Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Wednesday. Yeah. Clyde, who has, of course, Ground Zero and then Fade to Black, we actually merged the shows and did a simulcast. So Clyde's show was on Fade to Black. I know it's kind of weird. You got to think of it in these concepts. But at the same time, Fade to Black was going out on Clyde's show, and we did a simulcast together as two radio hosts that are friends, that respect each other, but it also shows unity and friendship out there where Clyde and I, or other radio hosts, we just don't get along. And Clyde and I are friends. And so for two radio networks to agree to do this and to go out, I think it says a message to everybody out there. And you know what? We actually did it. I want you to give it up for my friend here, Clyde Lewis. And and his producers over there. And
I love Jimmy so much that I've decided to copyright Fade to Zero. That's going to be our newest program. Something like that.
Yeah. The Fadernauts just squirmed in their seat.
I'm not taking over. Believe me.
Yeah. No.
It's got too good of a thing going on right
here. Clyde, you've been doing this for a long time. I like to say that there's other radio hosts out there that are doing what we're doing, but George, you, myself, we all work together. We're all in the same network, and we all work together. But we're all here at this conference too, and all three of us are here. We're presenting. We're doing our things, and that's an important message for this audience to know that we are here to help them spread that message. And when you walk around Contact in the Desert and you're looking at this, dude, do you feel like the rewards are there? Isn't it a great feeling?
I think the rewards are that it shows that there is a spread of different types of individuals, all of different ages, and all three of us cover that spectrum of age, and this mass appeal. And sometimes George does it for people, sometimes Jimmy, and then I do it for people or whatever. But I always find it amazing that both Jimmy and I have overlapping audiences, which has been the greatest thing ever. And because he's younger than I am, and I'm getting older. And but it's all a matter of demographics. It's all a matter of spreading the word. And I think that it has evolved for so long now. I mean, I've been doing it now at 22 years.
Right.
It has evolved to the point where I no longer start asking the questions. I start making the statements, because we are here in a time of confirmation. It's no longer about disclosures, but hey, there's so many things around that confirm this information.
Right.
I think we should start standing proud and saying, hey, we have the confirmation. Let's start spreading the word about the confirmation. And that's how I think.
Yeah, thank you for that, Clyde.
Yeah.
And I really mean that. And
we wouldn't be here if we didn't have a confirmation in our own hearts about what it is.
I want you to share something with me. I'm going up to ECETI July 4th, going to go up there with James and speak.
Cool.
And you had a pretty unique experience up there, one that I think you called me the day after, it came on my show. Or is that, that's what happened, right? Yeah. I'm remembering it now. Yeah. You had a pretty amazing experience up there. Now, from your vantage point, I want you to share the audience from your vantage point of how the event went down. I'm not going to give it away. What was it that you saw while you guys were drinking coffee early in the morning?
Okay, it was Sunday, and we usually spend the whole weekend up there. And
was Roger with you?
Roger, you were there, weren't you? Were you there? You weren't there. You weren't there, or were you there?
I just want you to back up the story.
Okay, Roger,
right? You can back it.
Roger, my investigator assistant, he was there.
Okay,
so we were at ECETI, and we were in the area. There's this area where this is a library, and there's a kitchen and all this other stuff. And me, I always tell people, give me my coffee and no one gets hurt. Mm-hmm. That's how I am in the morning. So I wake up, my hair's all a mess, usually, it's the Clyde Lewis look at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sitting there in shorts and sandals and drinking coffee, and we're all having our little coffee clutch in the morning, and we're all like kind of bitchy and everything. And all of a sudden, I look across the way. There's these doors, and then there's this like washing area where they wash the clothes, and these doors. And I looked, and I was looking, and I saw, and I'm not kidding you, I saw what I thought was a guy that looked like Robert Plant standing there. And what I mean by that is that, Robert Plant has the golden locks, kind of the brownish golden locks.
Right.
And it was kind of like that kind of a shimmering brown golden curl type thing.
Was he dressed?
No, it was
Robert Plant.
It was a naked Robert Plant. No,
okay, that's cool. All right.
At first, I was thinking, this is something I don't know what the hell I'm seeing. It's like it's the golden god. And then I looked at the face, and it looked like a smashed-in pug-nose face. It looked like some puppy monkey baby. It just had this weird face.
Right.
And I went, Bigfoot. And I'm Bigfoot. I started yelling, Bigfoot. And I go run. I get up, and I'm trying to run. And I was 160 pounds heavier then. I'm trying to run, and I couldn't get out the door fast enough. And I saw this thing just shoot off through the orchard, and I said, "Go get this thing!" But it's funny because the minute I said, "Bigfoot," and then I went, "Bigfoot," because I didn't get a picture. And I know that if I was to tell anybody I saw Bigfoot, they're all going to go, "Sure, Clyde, Sure.
Right.
Because the thing is, if you don't have a picture, what does it mean, right? It doesn't mean a damn
It's just
thing.
a story.
It's just a story. It's like a fish story.
Right.
But it was funny because we did manage to go over the area where we saw the thing run from us, and apparently it walked and it balled on it landed on the ball of its foot, leaped off, and then went to the other side and had a full footprint in there. So if you talk to James, somewhere he's got a picture of the footprint that they got. James Gilliland. But yeah, it went in and then bounced over and went to and then was running. And it ran so fast we couldn't keep up with it. But what's interesting is the night before that, there were people who were saying, well, actually, there were a number of people who were saying they saw things on Mount Adams. There was a fire that was burning on the other side of Mount Adams. So that would probably be the reason why in Skamania County and Klickitat County, which is Bigfoot Central in the Northwest, they probably moved over from the other side of the mountain and they were moving over towards that area. So that's probably why I saw Bigfoot. But apparently there were a number of people that were saying in the encampment the night before, they were seeing deer running and they were seeing things moving in the encampment. So they didn't go as far as say it was Bigfoot, but I saw something. And that's why I knew I saw Bigfoot, because it was nothing like I had ever seen. It wasn't anything like I imagined it to be. You know, you see these Bigfoot depictions of like Harry and the Hendersons and all that. It looks like some kind little Bigfoot face. No, it looked like a curly-haired. It was about probably 6'2", so it was really short. Because people say it's like 9 or 10 feet tall, but it was pretty short. And when I looked at it, the thing that bothered me was the face, because it looked like a smashed-in face. And someone showed me the picture of a gibbon. If you ever look up a gibbon, it looked like a gibbon, because the only monkey that they knew that had a smashed-in face was a gibbon. So you take a look at a gibbon online, and that's what it looked like a gibbon. So, it was not really what I imagined it to look like.
We got to take a break right here, Clyde, but I want to thank you again for everything. Thank you for our friendship and our relationship and everything that you have done. Okay, please give it up for Clyde. But I want to ask you, are you okay now for being the crazy guy that's seen a Bigfoot? Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, because it's given me opportunities to go to like Bigfoot conventions and talk about it, and I got to meet Bob Gimlin, which was nice. I had a chance to interview him, and I interviewed him in person. He's in his 90s now. It's amazing, of the Patterson Gimlin film. I wanted to let you all know, Sunday night, 7:00. We're going to do the Black Cube. So Roger's here with the Black Cube. We're going to do the Black Cube, and we want you all to come because it's going to be amazing. We contact dimensional beings with this thing. We don't know how we do it. We just do. If you want to get some real contact here this year, come see us do the Black Cube. 7:00, I believe, Sunday. It's going to be in Sanctuary.
Clyde Lewis, everybody. Thank you so much, Clyde.
Thank you.
I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black. We'll be right back.
What up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. GetTheT.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
Levels of Power. Fact or fiction. Author Mike Gilmore brings political thrillers aligned with the latest news stories direct from our nation's capital. Immigration and border security. High tension in Southeast Asia. A Supreme Court nomination. Follow Senator Randy Fisher through the halls of power as he confronts the issues that affect our everyday lives. Fast-paced political thrillers. Levels of Power. Discover more at michaelgilmore1.com or amazon.com. Get hooked today.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark. deep with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Gobekli Tepe. What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Gobekli Tepe.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at jimmychurchradio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, live from Contact in the Desert 2017. Let's go. What a... Look at this. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I should do the Pope thing. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. Again, I'm always alone in a bunker with Coast to Coast, with Fade to Black. You know, check this out, right? Fade to Black, huge audience, right? Just amazing. I'm alone in a room with male body odor, me, and then over at Coast to Coast, I want you guys to remember this. Steve has been in the studio with me at Coast to Coast, live which has happened like 3 times in 25 years over at Coast. But Coast to Coast, I'm alone. I'm alone in Coast. So when I tell you guys on the air, I'm in a dark studio, it's just you and I. Think about that. It's kind of creepy, coolly weird, isn't it? It's just me just talking out to the ether. And when you guys are here tonight, it's a totally different vibe for me. And I get this reward maybe twice a year. Okay, so again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm humbled. This is great. What a show. Thank you guys so much. All right. Now, and I really mean it. I really mean it. Now, check this out. My very first broadcast that I did so many years ago was with this man to my left, one of my closest friends, Steve Murillo. Everybody knows Steve. Here he is in the flesh. Steve Murillo is here. Steve ran MUFON LA for 13 years. He was the director. Is that nuts, right? 13 years. A former Marine fighter pilot, the real deal, graduated from I know your CV like by heart. Graduated from the United States Naval Academy, then joined the Marines as a fighter pilot. One of the most dynamic, craziest guys I know. And today, his hobby is jumping off a mountain behind my house. He hang glides nearly every day of the week. He's a 6-degree black belt and just all-around great guy, Steve Murillo. Thank you, Steve. I mean, just amazing. Now, before we run out of time because I'm yapping, this year, July 4th weekend, I have the great honor and privilege to be a guest up at ECETI Ranch with James Gilliland, and the being invited up there is one thing, but he didn't know this. This was a bucket list for me, and I was going to invade his ranch anyway, but I'm going up as a guest and a speaker, and it's this July 4th weekend, and I'm welcoming to Fade to Black the one and only James Bleepin Gilliland. James, welcome to the program. Now, both of you are so important to our community, but James, I want to guarantee right now, I'm going to see some action when I'm there, right?
100%.
No, Joe, say it louder. I can't hear you.
100%.
All right. Man, I'm so James knows my take on night vision and not only night vision, but just the belief of what's going on and orbs and things. But you have been at the center of it, man, the very center of it for so long. Going back, James was just on Coast to Coast with me, by the way, and that was great. But going back to those early days of Coast, when you went on those first couple of shows and you were talking, trust, you were freaking people out, including myself. I was like, dude, I got to see these videos. We were crashing the website, right?
Yeah,
and it was the earlier days of the internet anyway, and video was a difficult thing. But you freaked the world out, man. What? Oh, Richard Bleepin Dolan?
He's over there.
Richard. Richard, you're never going to live it down, man. You're taking it to your grave. Your gravestone will say, Richard Bleepin Dolan. Richard Dolan is here. Sid Goldberg. Everybody say hi to Sid. All right. Back to this side of the fence really quick.
Okay.
How long has it been going on up there? I mean, seriously, it is an absolutely amazing phenomenon.
I hate to admit it, but it's been going on for 30 years.
Why would you hate to admit that?
Because I'm dating myself.
Dude, you don't look but 29.
Yeah.
So explain that. So this is going on. You've been looking at it since you were 2.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. But it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Is it nightly? And is it limited to Mount Adams, or do you see stuff over your house? Of course, we have Bigfoot, interdimensional, spirit. I mean, it's like it's an all-in-one package up there. And I'm not making light of it, but that is indeed the case, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything is going on there because it's a portal, and it's like a place where the veils are very thin between worlds. And so people come up there and they have experiences, everything from, I just did a presentation. I just stepped out of there, but I showed, footage of ferries, everything you can imagine, to ships, huge light ships coming in treetop level, to masters appearing there, and Bigfoot, Bigfoot there. And there's more to the story with Clyde, because that Bigfoot, I saw it when it was running away, and it ran through our orchard, and all the tree branches are tight. And it ran right through those tree branches, and the branches didn't move.
Does anything surprise you anymore? What would it take for you to go, wow, that's trippy?
That's a good question. After what I've seen.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I died, and I went back to the source. After that, it's tough. I know. It's a tough act to follow, So it's
James, this is what's really nuts. When we talk about the evidence, Richard and I today, we were talking about the evidence. We're out, and it's funny. Rich and I are passing each other, and what do we do? What about the evidence, Jim? That's really is the big concern.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about let's go get some fruit drinks or something. Mm-hmm. We were talking about the evidence. Well, one of the people that I trust the most is my friend sitting right here to your left, Steve Murillo. And Steve comes down. We've got a new show. I've got a new show on History Channel that's coming out. And I was literally, God, man, I'm going to be so vain in saying this. I was in a car. I was in the back of a car, and I'm driving to the set. It's early in the morning, and we're taping. And I get the phone call from Steve, and Steve is telling me, dude, man, we just saw Bigfoot. We got pictures. We got this. We got evidence. We got this. We got foot. I said, what? So I immediately call the head of the network, and I said, I'm right. Can we break into our production today? Because we have Bigfoot evidence, and it's breaking news. And to me, that's the most important thing. And if I'm going to put my reputation on the line, I need to know that I have confidence in what is about to happen. And I have confidence in this man. Now, just 20 miles from your ranch, he just had not only one of the coolest discoveries, but I'm going to say this to the audience here, They were up there hoping to find something, and they ended up finding these fresh footprints up there that, to me, when I look at this, my hair stands up. So, Steve, just step up to the mic, my friend. Yeah. I hope I didn't build this up to, but it's really true. It's really true.
Yeah, first,
we've got 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, so real quick. First of all, that whole area, I'll agree with Jim. There's sort of like, it's sort of enchanted, sort of like maybe Skinwalker is in sort of a negative way. This is in a positive way. Honestly, I went with Alex. I was just kind of humoring Alex
Mistretta.
And he's a field investigator. He's really into cryptozoology. So we decided to put this team together and go up there. We did.
Rick Sinnott.
Rick was with us.
Yes.
James was kind enough to let us on his ranch. The next morning, after we did sky watching with you, we decided to go driving just randomly around Mount Adams. Beautiful, majestic mountain. I'm surprised it's not a ski resort because it's huge. It's what's the peak? 12,000 or something?
No, it's a UFO garage.
And
no skiing allowed.
It's but it's gorgeous country.
Yeah, right.
Easy to get to. So fly to Portland, drive an hour and a half east, and you're there. Really easy to get to. Nice little town. Everybody friendly. Anyway, we drive randomly. We drive up some dirt roads, fire roads, this and that. We're four-wheeling with our Jeep that we rented. We get out. We walk about another 40 minutes or so into the woods, and Rick and Alex are ahead of me, and we're seeing signs. We're seeing bent trees and things.
You know, we need the short version. We're not on coast to coast.
Rick finds a print, a large print. I put my foot next to it. It was I'm a size 13. It was about that much longer than my foot, and I put my hand together like this to measure the heel. The heel was wider.
Now I'm going to tell everybody here. I'm talking toes, everything complete, and it's this big.
And we bought a bag of
that big.
It was huge. We bought a bag of plaster, a big 5-pound bag of plaster to fill in case we came across a track. So we come across this track, and we ran out of plaster. The thing was huge, man. And we found other prints too, but we didn't have any more real plaster to pour them.
And this is the hard thing, and I want to thank you guys because we're out of time. We're at the end of the show. Steve is speaking this weekend. Of course, James is speaking this weekend, and he's got. Please go to ESETI and come up and stay with us up there. These are two very important friends of mine right here. So, but what I want to say is this footprint, when I saw it, I wanted to call BS, but I can't because he's a 6-degree black belt Marine fighter pilot. And he's somebody that I trust. And this is extraordinary. The story is breaking. We've got more of it coming out on the new show that's coming out. Steve was so gracious to be featured in a segment. And these two mean so much to me, and I want to thank them for being part of the show tonight. So please,
thanks, Jimmy.
Steve Murillo and James Gilliland. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And you know what? Have a great rest of the conference, and we'll see you tonight. Shots are on me. All right? Thank you so much, James. Right, you're the very best. Now, everybody, keep the applause going because coming up to the stage, Laura Eisenhower. Laura Eisenhower closing out the show. And I want to invite Laura, come on in here. Drop some F-bombs, baby. And Richard Bleep and Dolan. Richard, come on. Richard, come on. We got to bring Richard up. Two of my close friends right here together, side by side. All right. Are you guys good? You guys signing autographs? Are you taking pictures?
All the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Laura, step up to the microphone. How are you?
I'm good. How y'all doing?
Laura Eisenhower, right
so good
here.
To be here. I love this event.
Oh, man, we love you. Richard, now, the three of us, we do this event every year. Is this the biggest and best yet? And the weather, right?
I always love coming here. I think I've been here for 5 years now, and it's always one of my highlights. And, yeah, perfect weather, perfect everything, great crowd, wonderful.
Amazing. Laura, same thing for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It just recharges me. It re-inspires me. I get so much just from all of us. I mean, I'm so proud of us. I mean, this is unity consciousness. And if it wasn't for what we're doing on the planet, God only knows where we would be. And I just think we're awesome. So,
as only Laura Eisenhower can say it. Now, Richard, day after disclosure, your history, you're a historian, you're educated, you're well-spoken. I say this about you every time we're around each other. I know you're tired of it, but
it's a little old.
Richard, your status and your image, and you are the face for us here that allows us to feel comfortable and to know that we've got you out there, putting the sanity spin on us for the world that doesn't think we are sane. You are the guy that represents us in that stat. I'm serious, right? Am I right about Richard?
Well, thank you.
Now, I know you're tired of hearing it, right? But today, and we were talking about it earlier, the secret space program, these things that are big issues out there, whistleblowers, colonies on Mars, interdimensional, things fighting and in our solar system and in our right. This is a pretty big subject today. This is not something that can
almost be dominated.
It's the most. It cannot be ignored anymore. You are a rational guy. But even you have to know that we have to look at everything. We have to listen to everybody. We can't. If we choose to ignore, then we are censoring ourselves, and that is just lunacy. We don't need that here. And so here we are today with this very important subject with your historical knowledge. How does that make you feel, man? It's like we're in a paradox, aren't we?
Yeah, I've believed in the secret space program for as long as I've probably been involved in the UFO subject. I've written about it for a very long time. There's no question in my mind that there's a major clandestine effort going on in space, and that most likely involves radically advanced technology that we don't ordinarily have access to here. So there's no question.
There's a but coming.
Well, there is, and I've already done a few interviews, and I know the word's getting out there. It's like, oh my God, Dolan is out against some of these so-called whistleblowers, and it's not exactly true that I'm against anyone, because I'm really not. But I would say that from my own take on it, something can be true. In fact, it's possible that all of the stories that people are giving for the reality of a phenomenon, and I'm just talking about myself, I have to have a certain standard that allows me to be confident that I can move forward.
Okay, so let me ask you, Richard, right now, what's the evidence of a breakaway civilization that you've been...
Oh, well, I've always put it out as a hypothesis. I wrote
is that an asterisk then?
No, I say it's a likely probability.
Isn't it the same story?
Well, no, it's not, because to have a breakaway civilization would mean you've got a clandestine group of individuals or organizations that have access to very advanced technology, but that's not the same as essentially magical technology in every possibility. They could have advanced technology in computing. They could have advanced technology in terms of genetics. They could have advanced technology in terms of transportation, or maybe in one of those things. Maybe
don't you see the similarities in the two things that that you're actually suggesting here? Shouldn't we have the same open mind with everything then?
I do have an open mind, so I don't want to be misunderstood here.
I'm speaking for them.
Right. So I think
they should have the open mind. I know that you do, Richard. You're out of your mind.
We should have the open mind.
Right.
But we really always... I sometimes feel, I look at our mainstream media, and I think that we've gotten to the point of evidence-free assertion. No one needs to provide evidence for anything. I'm talking about Washington Post, New York Times, CNN.
Right.
They don't need to provide evidence for anything. And it's almost, it's sometimes the case in our alternative field as well.
Right.
That people can make claims, but from my perspective, all right,
I need you to center us, is what I'm saying. I need you to center us.
So what it means basically is when someone makes a claim, that doesn't mean you reject it, as I don't reject any of them. I don't reject Laura's claims in the least. All right, I believe that Laura went through the experiences she did.
Right.
which maybe you could talk about them.
Yeah, you know, she is in the room. She's right here.
But talking about me. but it does mean that when a claim is made, all right, rather than just accept it as gospel, absolutely has to be believed and no question about it. I think we might be a little bit wise to just say, all right, let's put this in a provisional category here, and let's look for confirmation.
Right.
All right. Well, that's really where I would stand.
And I think that goes across the board. And it doesn't matter what it. If something was confirmed, no matter how. I mean, like really in any of this, well then shit, it's all good, right? If you think about what I am saying, it opens up the doors to so many people that have been closed. I'm talking about the man.
Yeah, and you know, to confirm, let's say.
Did I just say?
You did. You dropped a bomb.
I've never sworn on the air.
You dropped a bomb.
Potty mouth. Okay.
I didn't think we had any FCC thing going on.
Yeah, you know what? I just don't do it. I respect my audience, and there's too many. It's a family. You know, I heart radio right now. Just went. Brrr. So there you go. All right. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I did. See, I'm human, but I'm also passionate, and I'm upset with this. I want everybody to do.
Well, I'm going to add one thing here. All right. So if I were in charge of keeping security on this subject, I would do what I know the CIA has done since forever, which is throw disinformation into the field. That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what they have always 100%. Done since the beginning.
Yes.
And so I would find people that are not particularly credible, that would tell amazing stories, that would throw researchers off into
not the first time that this would have happened either. Yes.
Forget UFOs. We know that the intelligence community does this with media. They've done this since the 1940s, and they've not ever stopped. So we just have to be careful. And so when claims come our way, my personal attitude, my professional attitude is, fine, accept it, but let's find out what does the evidence actually say to us.
That's
why corroborate.
That's why you are Richard Bleepin' Dolan. Give it up for Richard, man. We love you so much. You know what? Best 10-minute video in the history of everything, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Laura, step up. How are you?
I'm good now that I'm here. It's definitely better than last week, the week before, and I've had a very challenging year. Let's just say, but no, I bounced back, and I appreciate it, and I am doing good. In the larger picture, I'm doing great. You know, in the everyday, it's questionable, but
I think the entire planet, and I'm speaking for everybody, had one of the most challenging years in 2016. For every single reason that you can think of. It was a crazy year for us. You write about this and speak about this all the time. I mean, seriously, could it get worse? Or did we scrape the bottom, and are we going to see some good times ahead?
I mean, I just can't imagine how we couldn't. And the thing that I like to do is
scrape bottom and see good.
Like turn hell into a party. Like just make it fun. Like when you're in the worst, it's like when I was in the car wreck, when the car was spinning, I was almost like cracking up. I'm like, this is them, and like bags in my face, and like I get out of the car and I'm like hanging on a cliff, and I'm just like, holy smokes! And the cop is just in shock. He can't even believe that I didn't go off the cliff. We're listening to music. We're totally bonding because he's just like, whoa.
Right.
Just appreciating just the fragility of life and how quickly it can be taken. And so, it can be challenging, and sometimes it's rough being human, but the high points and just the love and just the triumph and how we're prevailing, we're going to take that to the big cosmic campfire. And we got a lot of great things to bond on, just here. So I just have this vision of just like us at this big cosmic campfire, just being like, can you freaking believe we just did that?
Right. And please
set a planet free from a Draco invasion.
Right. So I told you today I wanted to close out the show with you. So I want to close out the show with your words. To me, speak to the audience. You know what? 2017 is right in front of us. We have nothing but hope and we need to move forward. What is the advice that you can give to me to help me through 2017? And let's take the audience with us.
I would just, say really pay attention, to your triggers, whether they're positive or negative. The splinters are going to want to come to the surface, and they're going to want to be, somewhat understood, so you can consciously remove them. There's going to be triggers connected to inspirations, things connected to maybe projects or, things that you want to do. So they're important to note, and they're important to write down, because that's where all the guidance, is. Our life is constantly showing us. The messages are there. And the thing is, and this is what the cabal kicked them in the cabals. What they understand is that when we adopt a belief system, we enable it and we give birth to it. And so we need to be more conscious, co-creators of this reality, because we absolutely have the paints and the canvas in front of us to create whatever we want. And the more conscious we are of that, and the more we recognize the things that are trying to sabotage it, we'll recognize that this big awakening has really been about liberation. It's been a harsh reality to know how betrayed we have been and how deceived we have been. But ultimately, it means that we have ourselves to fall back on, and we have each other. And I think, this year ahead is going to involve more celebration and more of the high points of what that means, and more benefits connected to what this human vessel is going through and how it's advancing itself. Because this thing is, if we're not moving into the artificial intelligence signals and the transhumanism, we're moving into the organic ascension and the upgrades that are going to help us to see what this human vessel is capable of. And we're not talking just 12 strands. We've got 12, 13, 14, 15, and 12 turned to 24 to 48. I mean, the party's just begun, and we're like the greatest news ever, and we're the most advanced technology here. Everything else is an imitation. So I think things are going to lighten up, let's keep creating, good events. I mean, this is where it's at. This is what's making it happen, and it's rippling out to everyone.
Laura Eisenhower, thank you so much. I wanted to close out the show with that. Richard Dolan, all of the guests that we had on tonight. I can't even listen. Linda Moulton Howe, Peter Levenda, Erich von Daniken, Giorgio Tsoukalos, Jason Martell. Somebody help me out here. Cory Goode. Who else do we have on the show tonight? It's a blur. Clifford Mahudi. Who was with Clifford? Jason Quitt, John DeSouza. You know what? You guys give it up for yourselves. I'm tired. Thank you so much. Contact in the Desert 2017. This show is copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be copied, used, distributed anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We are going to go get it on right now at Contact in the Desert here in Joshua Tree. Good night, everybody. Give it up. Let's go. Wow, wow, wow. Good night. Gobekli Tepe.